This is Cricket on Middle Stumps as we bring you ball-by-ball commentaries on the West Indies-Sri Lanka series. The action is about to begin. And now, for all the excitement, let's join our commentators on location.
Hello, good afternoon, and a warm welcome to our coverage right across the Caribbean. Welcome to, of course, the Coolidge Cricket Grounds in Antigua. Of course, we are just the stone's throw away from the VC Bird International Airport. Wherever you're joining us in the region across the archipelago of the Caribbean, we say good afternoon, good evening, a warm welcome. And of course, we say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to those who are joining us across the world via Cricket West Indies YouTube's channel. My name is Garfield Burford. With me is Vernon Springer as we prepare for, of course, this third and deciding T20 International. It's the CG Insurance T20 International between Sri Lanka and the West Indies here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds. The series intriguingly poised at one apiece tonight. Decider in the three-match series. Vernon, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Garfield, and good afternoon to the nation of Antigua and Barbuda, and by extension, the universe. Because everybody all around the world is listening to us. It's the CG Insurance third T20 International, West Indies versus Sri Lanka, and we're live from Coolidge. The men in black and white today, on the on-field umpires, will be Patrick Gustard and Joel Wilson. The TV umpire will be Gregory Brathwaite, and the fourth umpire will be Nigel Duguid, and the match referee is Sir Richie Richardson. You have Sri Lanka team. They've won the toss and decided that they're going to bat.
Absolutely. So if you're just joining us, we can greet you with the news that the toss happened about 15 minutes ago. Sri Lanka winning the toss. Their captain, Angela Matthews, winning the toss, and they will bat first. They'll be looking possibly to have a repeat of what they did, of course, for the second T20 International on Friday evening. Their side is an unchanged 11. Captain Angela Matthews, Danushka Gunathalika, Pathum Nisanka, Niroshan Dikwala, the wicketkeeper, Dinesh Chandimal, Ashen Bandara, Tissera Pereira, Wanindu Hasaranga. He was, of course, the impact player and the man of the match in the last contest. Akila Dhananjaya, the hat-trick man from the first game, and Dashmuntha Chimera and Lakshan Sandakan. Of course, Sandakan brought in to replace Pradeep in the last match, stays in this match because he did extraordinarily well, taking 3 wickets in that second match. A victory for Sri Lanka in the second match. Of course, let's remind you of how the series has been set up so far for this intriguing third and deciding match this evening. The first match won by 4 wickets with 41 balls to spare by the West Indies. That was on Wednesday of last week. Then the second match on Friday of last week, won by Sri Lanka by 43 runs. They certainly spun a web around the West Indies, bamboozled, discombobulated the batsmen. And this has now laid the foundation for an intriguing contest in this, the third and deciding T20 International, CG Insurance T20 International here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds. Of course, history being made here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds, the first time that international cricket is being played, and it has started with its series. The first time was, of course, the match on Wednesday, the first match of the CG Insurance T20 International Series, and of course, this is the third international match being played here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds, the home of West Indies cricket, part of an innovative and the upshot of an innovative partnership between the government of Antigua and Barbuda, led by Prime Minister Gaston Brown and the Cricket West Indies. They've come together to make sure that Cricket West Indies can make this their home, and it is now also hosting international games. What a fantastic opportunity. You have the West Indies team.
Of course.
Vernon.
And there's one change for the West Indies team today. Karen Pollard, captain. Lendell Simmons, Evan Lewis, Chris Gale, Nicholas Puran will be the wicketkeeper, Jason Holder, Fabian Allen, Dwayne Bravo, Kevin Sinclair, Oban McCoy. Fidel Edwards has been left out today, and guess who's in? Ravman Powell. So it now means that the West Indies have strengthened their batting. They feel comfortable within their bowling unit, but they decided that they're going to strengthen their batting because that is their major concern. So let's wait and see if this works. It's do or die.
Let's see, we're going to tell you about the toss in terms of the captain's comments of the toss. We already told you how the toss has gone. Sri Lanka winning the toss and will be batting. Let's hear from the captains at the toss as we hear what happened about 20 minutes ago. Okay, we'll be getting the toss in a very short time. Let's remind you of the fact that the two teams, as Vernon would have just mentioned a short while ago, Lendl Simmons, Evan Lewis, Christopher Gale, Nicholas Puran, Kyron Pollard, Jason Holder, Robman Powell, he's brought in to replace Fiddle Edwards, Fabian Allen, Dwayne Bravo, Kevin Sinclair, and Obed McCoy. Of course, Captain Kyron Pollard and Nicholas Puran, the wicketkeeper. For the Sri Lanka side, Angela Matthews, Danushka Gunathalika, Pathum Nisanka, Nirishan Dikwala, the wicketkeeper, Dinesh Chandamal, Ashan Bandara, Thisira Pereira, Wanindu Hasaranga, Akila Dhananjaya, Dushmantha Chimera, and Lakshan Sandakan. Of course, that's 11 for the Sri Lanka side. Let's remind you as well of the fact that the officials who will be officiating in this contest, Vernon would have told you about it a bit earlier on. Let's remind you. The match referee, Sir Richard Richardson. On-field umpires, Patrick Gustad and Joel Wilson. TV umpire, Gregory Brathwaite. The fourth umpire, Nigel Duguid. Those are, of course, the officials. As we pretty much both teams are now taking photographs for posterity. So they are pretty much seated, well, some are standing, some are seated. Both the Sri Lanka side and the West Indies side taking photographs for posterity here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds, the home of West Indies cricket. Let's hear the toss now.
Rematch T20 International Series between the West Indies and Sri Lanka. We're going to get this contest started with the toss. The captains alongside Kyron Pollard of the West Indies, Angelo Matthews of Sri Lanka, and we've got our match referee, Sir Richard Richardson, who will supervise the toss. Coin in the air. Heads is the call. Heads it is, and heads it is. So Sri Lanka once again winning the toss. Angelo Matthews, what are you going to do today?
Likewise, we'll have a bat first.
All right. Any changes to your team for today's contest?
We are unchanged.
The last time you won a T20 International Series was way back in October 2019. How significant it will be for your team to win this one?
Yeah, quite a long time, isn't it? Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't been, delivering. But today is a great opportunity. We are up against a world-class team, and hopefully, we can put the runs on the board and try and squeeze them.
Reviewing the last two matches, I think the batting is an area that you'd expect more today. What additional are you looking for?
Yeah, we can improve in all three departments. I think, especially the batting between 7 to 15 overs, if we can be a bit more active, I would say, and be a bit more busy than the last two games, we can put a decent score on the board.
Well, you look quite relaxed. Go well today.
Thank you.
Let's get Kyron Pollard in here. Kyron, I guess the biggest threat for you today is that of the spinners from Sri Lanka. How are you going to cope and deal with that?
Let's see what happens when that happens. It is what it is. We have discussions, about it. Again, just a matter of, guys taking responsibility and playing the roles that is required, for the team. And I think, once we do that, I think we'll be all right.
What about changes to your team?
Yeah, there's one change. Fidel Edwards misses out. Robman Powell gets an opportunity, to play for us today.
In the last game, Angelo Matthews threw spinners at you in the death overs. Is that something that you're expecting again today? Yeah, when you watch a combination of their team, we definitely have some spin in the back end. Even if they bowl the medium pacers, will be Pereira and Angelo himself. So again, I think if we bat properly and we bat well and we set up the game to which is our strength, I just believe that, we have a very, very good chance. So, again, it worked for them, last game. And I said it's just a matter of us improving, as a batting unit. And, again, continuing, good stuff for the ball. And hopefully we can limit them for something under 160 as well and see if we can chase it down. You're looking business-like today. All the very best to you and your team.
Thank you.
Well, there you go, guys. The news out in the middle. Sri Lanka, they've won the toss and they will bat first.
Oh, there you go. So what happened a few short minutes ago? We're getting ready for this contest, the deciding contest. The weather looks fine. We're hoping that there are no interruptions a bit later on. Certainly, the forecasts are for fine weather to take us through these 40 overs in this third and deciding Siege Insurance T20 International. A few fun facts for you going into this contest. Sri Lanka have not won a T20I series since October 2019 when they won 3-0 in Pakistan. And West Indies won their last T20 International series against Sri Lanka around this time last year. Of course, before COVID-19 upended almost everything. We still have with us Vernon Springer as we get ready for the start. And we can now welcome Darwin Telemac. Darwin, your comments quickly as we get into this contest. One change for the two teams. Sri Lanka is unchanged for the West Indies. It's a change. Fiddle Edwards out. In comes Robman Powell. What do you make of it?
Yeah, and good evening to all the listeners. Good evening to all of the West Indies fans who are biting their nails, hoping that the West Indies could pull something off here this afternoon. I was a bit disappointed in Skipper Pollard's comments. It can't be that he's going to say what he said when asked about the spinners. They do have a problem. They have a real problem. They're being challenged by spin. If you look at the score, 119 2 nights ago, almost 70% of those 117. Right. Almost 70% of those runs came off the medium pacer, Pereira, and Chamera. Therefore, they can't score against the spin bowling, and therefore, they have to come here and prove that. Now, if you've played 2 games and you've seen that you've not been able to cope with that and made no changes to your batting, then it tells me that you are back in something that seems unable to deliver for you. I would have expected to see some changes there.
But they have made a change to the batting.
Bringing in Roverman Powell for Fidel Edwards, from my estimation, means that you are bringing in a rear guard action. The top order is a problem with the leg spinners. The inability to score up those guys are going to be the challenge for this West Indies team. And it would have been easier had there been another player instead of Fletcher. They could have brought a batsman in, but Fletcher is the same as the first 5. Therefore, the makeup of the team is challenged by what was initially selected. Maybe they did not realize they were going to be coming up against that type of bowling, but clearly they needed to have a player like a Marlon Samuels, a batsman who could bat, who could stay in, not go at it so crazily, but come through for them if things started going bad. We are not seeing any change in that respect, and may actually today see more of the same from the spinners.
Let's hear Vernon.
So who is available for you? Because Marlon Samuels is out of the question. So hold on. They have had 54 without loss and 45 without loss. So opening is not the opening pay is not the issue. The issue is the middle order. Are you clear about that?
What I would say to you is scoring 54 in 4 overs certainly is great guns for our type of calypso cricket. It doesn't win your games. You need batters who can bat you to win. What we have right now against this formidable spin attack has not delivered. We are back in it again. It would have been better. I from my standpoint, would believe that a player who can score at a rate of about 90 to 100 should be somewhere. Maybe someone like, maybe you could look at Jason Mohammed, who is in the one-day team. He could stick around. He bats spin very well. You could also say that someone like a Bravo could come in and stick around and stay there and things go crazy.
That's Darren Bravo.
You need a batsman who can score close to 100 strike rate and not be the power hitters that we have from 1 all the way down the line. And that is our nemesis right now, and we are going to see how they cope again.
Well, this team, Garfield and Darwin is missing a Shimon Hetmeyer. Because if we look at the top scores from the last CPL tournament, we would see Lendl Simmons with 356, Dan Bravo with 297, Shimon Hetmeyer with 267, and Nicholas Puran with 245. So Darwin's bet, I don't know how you feel. I'm back in the West Indies to win.
Well, Springer, if you're bringing in Hetmeyer, you're bringing in the same as Evan Lewis, the same as Simmons, the same as Puran. You're bringing in the same. The same has not delivered. You need a batsman.
But they won the first game.
They scratched it.
No, but they won. It will not go down in your record books, Darwin, that they scratched. They won the game.
No. If you watch how they won, and winning is not just having a W. How you won is critical to be assessed as well. The Sri Lankans changed their batting completely. When Dickwella took up too many dot balls, they bat him at number 7. They made a strategic change. We are making no changes to a batting that is struggling against a brilliant spin attack.
Who you backing today? That's all I want to hear. I'm back in the West Indies. I don't know. Garfield is on the West Indies.
Do you see what I'm wearing?
I'm just asking you. I just need to hear you.
Do you hear my voice? No, it's not because I'm happy.
I'm just asking you who you're backing down. That's all we're saying.
There's no question who I'm backing. That's a silly question. I am fighting for a different approach to a team that I will die for. and I am seeing the same, and I'm hearing the skipper saying the same, and I'm not thrilled with that.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen.
So we at the end of the day, right, we'll have a glass.
Excuse me?
At the end of the day, we'll have a glass.
Now, if you look at the odds for this game, we are not the favorites.
But we don't need to be the favorites. We will the game.
All right, gentlemen. Of course, let's remind you that, and we're going to hear Verdon a bit later on with the ball-by-ball commentary. Darwin stays with us. But, of course, let's say for our listeners and our viewers who are joining us from Sri Lanka that by Vernon asking Darwin who is backing, he means who he thinks is going to win the game. Not necessarily, so we're not partisan here in this contest, let's be clear. By the way, the players are now taking the knee in recognition of the need to ensure that there is social justice and Black Lives Matter, the need to ensure that there is zero intolerance in sport and around the society, around the world generally. So taking the knee and with a raised fist to recognize the need to cut out all forms of racial and other social injustice around the world. It will be Fabian Allen to start the chat. The 25-year-old slow left-arm bowler will be starting from the southern end, the pavilion end. The Sri Lanka, of course, opening with Danushka Gunathalika and as well as Pathum Nisanka. So it'll be Fabian Allen to bowl ball number 1 in this third and deciding Siege Insurance 2020, and this one driven into the covers, can't score. Evan Lewis doing the fielding there. Very positive shot there by Gunathalika, just driving that one, coming to the pitch of it, full delivery, that one giving some air on it and just driving, coming forward, driving into the covers sweetly. There is no run. Evan Lewis doing the fielding, so no slip in place. Of course, this is power play 1. It means therefore that only 2 players allowed outside the 30-yard circle. This one is another full delivery, a flighted delivery by Fabian Allen, driven back along the pitch to be fielded by the bowler. Danushka Gunathalika remains off the mark. He's yet to get off the mark. 2 balls gone. Fabian Allen to start again. He's up to the wicket from the southern end. Bowls and giving himself room, punching it down to Christopher Gale down as short third man. They get 1 run. Gunathalika just backing away to the leg stump and just cracking that one down to Chris Gale. The right-handed the right-handed Pathum Nisanka comes on strike. As we say, Darwin, obviously the Sri Lankans would want to continue what they did in the second match by batting positively, being assertive certainly in the power play, trying to get as many runs as they possibly can, both in terms of scoring shots and also in terms of running between the wickets.
Yes, and certainly with the change from Dikwala, we've seen Gunathalika and Nisanka in the second game batted very well, 90-odd for the first wicket, and they're obviously going to try to push here. They batted with using proper cricket shots as well, Garfield.
Here comes Fabian Allen. He's up to the wicket and bowls driven back along the pitch to be fielded by the bowler Fabian Allen. Just 1 delivery, 1 ball. Sorry, 1 run so far considered from this from the 4 balls in this over already. So just 1 without loss. Gunathalika with the single as he got that one down to third man. Fabian Allen comes in again with a slip in place. Christopher Gale. This one is driven back along the pitch. Fabian Allen just intercepts, makes sure that they can't score. 1 more ball left in over number 1. So 4 dot balls, and the slip is now being dispensed with. So Christopher Gale goes down to a short third man position. It's Nisanka now will be taking strike again from Fabian Allen, who starts again, bowls, and this one is stroked into the covers, can't score, fielded there in the covers. That's the end of over number 1. 1 without loss. Tidy over from Fabian Allen, just 1 run conceded. That's the latest score here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds in this third and deciding T20 International between these 2 sides.
A very good over by Allen. He not only was it a good over, the effort he placed, he exerted there to stop that delivery from going down to create a single was something that we've seen from him. He feels well, his energy is good. I think he's a very, very good addition to this team as his entire out cricket looks very good. His batting needs to step up a bit, but here he delivered for his team in this first over very, very nicely.
Kevin Sinclair will be bowling from the northern end, so it'll be spin from both ends to start. So a change in the strategy by the West Indies. Let's see what Sinclair will be able to do in this one. So 1 without loss. The 21-year-old Kevin Sinclair making his debut for the West Indies in this format. He's up to the wicket, bowls, and this one is driven down to short mid-on area. They get 1 shot of the stumps, hits, but the batsman long in his crease. In fact, they will get a second run as the ricochet comes off the stumps. Good running there by the Sri Lankans. Gunathalika very positive with his running. He's now on 3. The score 3 without loss. This is over number 2, the start of over number 2. Sri Lanka, let's remind you, won the toss and are batting.
Yes, and certainly they kept it going. They've won the toss on in every instance, and they've batted. They've backed themselves on the batting. They've put a score on, and they've been able to press the West Indies team. They intend to do the same here this evening, and we've seen that in their running between the wickets.
So it will be, again, Kevin Sinclair from the northern end. Starts to move in again. He's up to it again, bowls, and this one is punched into the covers. Fielded at point by Fabian Allen. There is no run. 3 without loss. The score remains. Gunathalika remains on 3. Nisanka yet to get off the mark. They're looking positive, but so far they've driven into the covers. Can't pierce the cover field. Very strong cover field. Here comes Kevin Sinclair. Is up, bowls, and this one is short and punched down to the boundary for 4. That one was short and too short. No matter how tall Jason Holder was at mid-on, he wasn't able to get that one. That one just going a little bit to his left. That one in pretty much in the gap, hit uppishly, but deliberate shot down to the boundary for 4.
Yes, and Garfield, in 2020 cricket, your length is really what matters. And this one was pitched outside off stump, but way too short and pulled over long on for 4.
This one again, a bit of short, and Fabian Allen takes a shot at the stumps. The batsmen get a quick single, good running again. Again, very positive and assertive with their running. They're really looking to put pressure on the batsmen. 2 balls left in over number 2. They're 8 without loss so far. This over has conceded 7 runs for the Sri Lankans. They're looking to, the right-handed Nisanka comes back on strike. Pathum Nisanka, both of them put on well over 50-run partnership in the second match, of
90,
course.
95.
In fact, 95 in the second match of this series, and they'll be looking to do the very same thing today. Sinclair will start again, none for 7 so far. 4 balls bowled in his first over. He's up to the wicket to bowl to the right-handed Nisanka, who's yet to get off the mark, and Nisanka is punching this one down to a wide-ish mid-wicket position. They get 1 run. Nisanka is out off the mark. 9 without loss. 9 without loss. Gunathalika on 8 comes back into strike with 1 ball left in over number 2.
Yes, and you're seeing some positive running. They're not getting the boundaries, but they are getting the singles. Sort of not the image we see when our maroon guys are out batting. They're not picking up the singles, the 1s and 2s.
Here comes this delivery, is punched down to long off by the left-handed Gunathalika. They get 1. He keeps the strike in the next over after 2 overs. They're scoring at 5 runs and over, 10 without loss. This is power play 1. Gunathalika on 9, Nisanka on 1. The latest score here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds.
And we're seeing them building here. They're in this series, you want to say that they've actually been together quite. They're the 2 batsmen for Sri Lanka who stayed together the longest. So there's some synergies and chemistry between these 2 players, and the skipper and the coaches are going to expect them to pile on here. But Allen has bowled a very good over. Let's see if he can continue in this second one.
Here he comes again, starts again, Fabian Allen, and this one is struck and caught by the bowler, brilliantly caught. A breakthrough for the West Indies. Gunathalika looking to drive over the bowler's head. Didn't get the elevation on it. Straight into Fabian Allen's hands. And he took a blinder over catch. 1 wicket down, 10 for 1. Gunathalika going for 9.
Very, very good catch here from Allen. He's alert. Like I was mentioning a moment ago, it rocked him back a bit. It was well struck. And he plucked it out of the air. Lovely catch by this young bowler. Jubilance. And was that Sinclair would have seen him maybe just continue with a backflip.
The acrobatics indeed. A very, very good catch. So Danishka Gunathalika goes for 9 off 9, and he seems to have been shell-shocked. He couldn't believe that Fabian Allen pulled off that one. A one-handed catch that's leaping into the air and taking it almost like with cat-like reflexes. And Dikwala, the wicket-keeper batsman, comes to the crease at batting at number 3. He batted at number 8 in the last match. Now he's batting at number 3. He opened in the first match, so he's been pretty much all over the order. But Nirashan Dikwala comes to the crease as the new batsman, replacing Danishka Gunathalika. Caught and bowled by Fabian Allen. So a wicket, first ball in over number 3, 10 for 1.
A big wicket, Garfield. That is the big wicket. Gunathalika was the guy in the second game who really stood up against the West Indies fast bowling. He squawked a few on both sides of the pitch, hit a few sixes. And it's good to see him walking up the pitch if you're a West Indies player and a West Indian fan watching on TV. This puts an interesting spin in the game. Can the West Indies apply some pressure here to this Sri Lankan batting and get them to even a lower total than 160?
Well, interesting spin on the game, pun intended. There's a deep square leg, deep backward square leg, and the other outfielder is a long one as the left-handed Nirashan Dikwala faces up to Fabian Allen. And this one is struck back along the offside of the pitch, fielded. There is no run, 10 for 1. The score remains. As we look back at the replay of what a blinder of a catch, and he took it right-handed. So he's a left-hander, and he took it right-handed. So not even his strongest hand. Here comes this one using his feet feet is Nirashan Dikwala. Strikes it down to Evan Lewis in the covers. He can't score. 10 for 1 the score remains. That was an extremely good catch. As the catches win matches, and possibly Fabian Allen would have done his side, certainly given his side a huge advantage, because Gunnar was certainly on the front for looking to score. He advanced on the pitch and looking to hit that one over the bowler's head. This one again, that one was hit uppishly by Nirashan Dikwala, rushing across as Fabian Allen. They get a single, but that one was hit uppishly again. Fabian Allen possibly thought he could actually strike. Lightning could strike 2 times in the same over.
Well, I'm not so sure if it carried all the way to him, but he certainly, there was an opportunity. Let's have a look at the replay. That was the first one. But that one seemed to have gotten close there, very, very close.
Here comes Fabian Allen, now to ball to the right hand, Nisanka, and this one is hitting it hard into the ground. Fielded there in the covers by the captain, Karen Pollard. There is now around 1 ball left in over number 3. They've kept things tight. The Sri Lankans really having a difficulty getting the ball off the square here. And Nisanka, so far 1 from 5, facing up his 6th delivery. Here comes Fabian Allen, bowls and going for the shot in the offside, missing the ball taken by the wicketkeeper Nicholas Puram. The end of over number 3, 11 for 1, end of over number 3. Dikwala on 1, Nisanka also on 1. The latest score here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds.
And Fabian Allen bowling 2 overs for 2 runs with 1 wicket. That is a big, big, big step forward here for a young man who has shown energy in all the games that he's played. He's fielded brilliantly on the boundary when asked to field there in any position. We've seen him exerted a lot of excitement, a lot of interest in the field, and to see him come on and bowl that first over, taking that blinder, certainly that can lift your team, and we're hoping that spreads around to all the players on the field.
That's if you're a West Indian supporter, you'd be hoping that. Here comes Kevin Sinclair. The start over number 4, 11 for 1. Sinclair, none for 9 so far. His first over was expensive, costing him 9. He's up to the wicket and bowls, and using his feet is a left-handed Nirashan Dikwala. They're stroking this one elegantly down to long off. They get 1 run, as it looks to be Rodman Powell comes off the long off boundary. Rodman Powell, of course, in this for this match for Fiddler Edwards. Fiddler Edwards didn't quite impress in the 2 matches he played. We're looking at a shot on ESPN's coverage of Roger Harper, the chairman of selectors, looking intently on as he sees the West Indies having Sri Lanka 12 for 1 in the start of over number 4. Kevin Sinclair starts again from the northern end. He's up to the wicket and bowls, and this one is just away from... Wow, that was for Lendl Simmons diving away to his left. That one wasn't far. Nisanka would have had his heart in his mouth there a while ago as he struck that one, didn't get hold of it, and there was Lendl Simmons diving away just probably inches away from his grasp there.
And we're looking at, it appeared to have been close, but it was a little bit further away, but close enough to create some excitement here.
Here comes Nirashan Dikwala, the left-hander, facing up, and this one is in the air. Will there be? No, it actually falls very short of Rodman Powell running around from long off. 2 runs to the score, 15 for 1. Dikwala moves on to 4. He's certainly looking to pick up the pace here, Dikwala. And by the way, Christopher Gale is now coming into a catching position, in that short mid-off position, right in the batsman's line of sight. Nirashan Dikwala, the left-hander, 15 for 1. He's on 4. He's facing up, and this one is in the air. Will there be a catch here? Easily catched. Easily caught by Andy. There go the acrobatics by Kevin Sinclair. Easy catch there for Jason Holder. Dikwala goes 2 wickets down, 15 for 2. Nirashan Dikwala gone for 4, facing 6 deliveries, and a wicket now for Kevin Sinclair. He's absolutely cockahoo.
Well, certainly if you're Karen Pollard and you're watching what these 2 spinners are doing, and there may have been anyone else on your team who could bowl spin, you're now wondering whether or not it may have been a smart idea to go along with slow bowling on this track. It seems as if it's just not coming the same in terms of the batsmen feeling it on the bat and hitting through the line. And the Sri Lankans are struggling here to get the ball away. Beautiful to see young Sinclair bowling, picking up that wicket and putting some pressure. Dikwala has to go, and Sri Lanka certainly struggling here at the Coolidge ground. 15 for 2.
Absolutely. The new batsman is Dinesh Chandimal. He comes to join Nisanka. So Nisanka has seen two of his partners going. So 15 for 2. We're in over number 4. So the spinners have certainly tightened things here. They've really had the Sri Lankans in a stranglehold, and that has resulted in the wickets. So obviously there was pressure being built on the Sri Lankans. They weren't getting to rotate the strike. They weren't getting the boundaries, and certainly they were looking to push up the ante, and that has cost them the wicket. So Kevin Sinclair 1 for 13. Fabian Allen also has taken a wicket, 15 for 2. It'll be Nisanka, the right-hander, who'll be taking strike now. So there's Christopher Gale at a short third-man position. There's a backward point. There's a cover. There's an extra cover in the mid-off. There's a mid-on. There's a short fine leg. There is a man at the deep mid-wicket boundary. Here comes Sinclair bowls, and this one is punched into just pulled into the to the mid-wicket area. They coming off the boundary there. Looks to be 1 run as the batsman crossed for 1. That was 16 for 2 now. 16 for 2. And it'll be Chandimal, who's right-handed, coming back, or he'll be facing his first delivery. Looking back at the acrobatics of the gymnastics from Kevin Sinclair. We've grown accustomed to that in the CG Insurance Super 50 and now in the CG Insurance T20 International. 16 for 2. Chandimal comes on strike. Nisanka moving on to 3 with that single. That was pulled into the onside. 16 for 2. 1 ball left in over number 4. Certainly the West Indies spinners have been tightening the screws here. This one is dropped into the onside. They get a quick single. Nicholas Puran gets a direct hit, and it will run very close to the boundary, and it will run into the boundary now, hitting the wicket and ricochet, and the West Indies dressing room holding their heads because that was good fielding, getting a direct hit, but bad for the result because the ball ricochet going to the boundary for 4, and it will be more runs for the Sri Lankans. Welcome runs.
Well, one would have thought that he would have seen the batsman was way home. He tried, couldn't have stopped. He was in the mood. He was going ahead, and the backing up maybe not as tight as it should have been. Unfortunately, 5 runs coming off that delivery, and easing some pressure here on the Sri Lankans. But the spinners are keeping it tight. The batsmen have to be guessing a little bit more. They're not playing through the line, seamers, and that's certainly putting a little bit more pressure on them.
21 for 2. We're going to be starting now over number 5. 21 for 2. Fabian Allen 1 for 2 from 2. He's been impressive. He's up to the wicket and bowls, and this one is played into the onside, is turning that one to just in front of square. Doing the fielding is Evan Lewis. 1 more run to Chandimal, and he now moves on to 6. Of course, most of those runs have come from that serendipitous overthrow. That ball is hitting the stumps early from Nicholas Serendipitous, yes indeed. Nisanka now comes back on strike. He's on 3, facing up to Fabian Allen. The scoring at 5.28 and over, and this one is punched into the onside, is pulled down to down there to actually it's Kevin Sinclair down at that deep mid-wicket boundary. 1 more run to the score, 23 for 2. Nisanka moves up to 4, brings Chandimal on 6 back on strike. They're scoring at 5.31 and 31 runs per over. We're in over number 5. Allen 1 for 4 in his 3rd over. He's up to the wicket again, bowls, and this one is struck back along the onto the offside. Running around is Fabian Allen. He's certainly a man pumped up, doing the fielding there. The batsman can't score. 23 for 2 the score remains. Chandimal on 6 of 3 is facing up now. 3 balls left in over number 5. The West Indies looking to tighten the screws. There's a man in the catching position again in that short mid-off position. This one is driven back down to the offside of the pitch. Again, Fabian Allen does the fielding. They can't score. Allen has been impressive. 1 for 4 in his 3rd over. 1 for 4. You heard right. He's really choked the batsman. They can't get the ball off the square. Here he comes again. Up to the wicket, bowls, and going for an almighty heave there through the offside. Missing completely was Chandimal. He's getting flustered. You can see the exasperation showing on Chandimal. He really can't score, and the frustration is telling. That one is taken by the wicketkeeper Nicholas Puran. 1 ball left in the 5th over. Here comes Fabian Allen. He starts again. 2 runs conceded so far. This one is just played into the offside. Quick single, and they get through. So at the end of over number 5, Chandimal moving up with that quick single. He's now on 6. Sorry, he's on 7. Nisanka at the other end. He's on 4. 24 for 2 at the end of 5 overs. Allen 1 for 5 after 3 overs. He's been impressive. After more comments from Darwin Telemack, it'll be time for Vernon Springer.
Yes, and certainly we are seeing a very tight spell here from Allen. Not only are we seeing him bowling very tight, but he's sprinting across the field to his own bowling. Lots of energy, and I think that young man is demonstrating a lot of guts, desire. He wants to do well for his team, and that can certainly lift his team to another level. The other key thing, Spring, as you come on, is they're not hitting boundaries, but they've taken quite a few singles of the spinners as well. So it's not all flat. They're not hitting boundaries, but they've taken the ones and twos quite nicely.
Well, 5 overs have been bowled, and in the meantime, Karen Pollard has made a change. Jason Holder now comes into the attack. He replaces Kevin Sinclair from the CIU Media Center in 24 for 2. The run rate is 4.80. He's into bowl to Chandamal, and he steers this down to short third man. And Lendell Simmons just coming around here picking up 25 for 2. And so the run rate is 4.80. West Indies versus Sri Lanka in the all-important CG Insurance game. Chandamal goes to 8. Nasanka is on 4. He comes into strike. And Jason Holder's had a small T20 career. Only some 20 matches there in 15 wickets. Best bowling figures of 2 for 23.
Well, certainly, in spite of that, he deserves to be here. He bowled well. He batted well in the first game. And if he gets his length well, he should do pretty well here tonight.
Nasanka waits for Jason Holder. He's going after a delivery. No good pace there by Jason Holder, and the length was completely different. And Nasanka going out of his comfort zone, trying to heap one over mid-wicket, missed it completely because of the bounce.
Well, yes, and certainly that's part of Jason Holder's repertoire. He can get it right up there and still get it to lift off a short length. And bowling very, very well here so far, Jason Holder. Nasanka is going to have to try a few things. He's been there for a while. It's a 6 over there, scoring out 4.6. He needs to get it up, so he's going to have to take some risk.
Nasanka waits for Holder. In both him, he's coming across the wicket, and Holder just can't be called a wide because he came all the way outside the line of his off stump. He's trying to play a paddle sweep there, but Jason Holder's up the gear here, and so the score remains on 25 for 2. Nasanka getting a little frustrated, playing a little bit out of his own comfort zone.
Well, I actually, he's trying to innovate. They need to score. He's trying to score. I think that's the whole idea of 2020 cricket. He's been in for 5 overs and 3 balls. He has to get something going here.
He's only faced 11. This is his 12th delivery now. He's back and right in this one. Into the mid-wicket here. 1 bounce down there to Rovman Powell. And so Holder just looking and just saying, couldn't that one just stay a little longer in the air for Rovman Powell to come and snap it up? But the score goes up to 26. Nasanka goes to quietly sneaks up, Darwin. That one bounced a little bit more on him. Wasn't in full control of it. Sort of came up with a tennis bat flat shot out to Rovman Powell, and it just didn't carry at all. Holder just for a moment saying, you're a little lucky today, Nasanka. Chandamal comes into strike. Nasanka is 5. Chandamal is 8. He's just whipping this beautifully past the short mid-wicket fielder. Tries to get past Rovman Powell again, who's brought in there to the short mid-wicket fielder. Natural athlete, and that's a big save there. 27 for 2. It's the latest score here at the Coolidge Ground in this all-important clash. The winner takes the series, Sri Lanka or the West Indies. And the West Indies so far in the first phase of the game, Darwin, you've really seen an intense West Indies. They've come up with some real purpose. 27 for 2. And Nasanka comes back into strike. He's 5 from 12. Holder comes in now to bowl to Nasanka. Nasanka is checking this one in the air. Check drive. He's going to be out caught. Yes, he is. Brilliant catch at mid-off. And what a catch there. And you know the thing about it? We're not going to see an acrobatic celebration from Kevin Sinclair. But that was an excellent catch.
That was a beautiful catch. I must say that this 21-year-old is bringing some spirit to the guys in maroon. And Nasanka just hitting this one on the up, trying to clear the infield. But Jason Holder pushed Sinclair not all the way back. He was outside of the circle and in a position where all he had to do was run back a bit. Took a very difficult catch and made it look very, very simple. And the acrobatics and agility of this young man is showing here. He runs quickly across the ground, picks it up, and West Indies are putting some pressure on Sri Lanka here. 27 for 3, and Jason Holder keeping the length right, as you would expect from someone as experienced as he is. If you bowl the right length, you're going to keep the batsman in check, and they're going to have to take more risk to score for you. So well done, Jason Holder.
But Darwin, I don't know how you feel, but Patha Nasanka batted number 3 for the first 2 games. And today he came out opening, and he really didn't look himself. 27 for 3.
He opened in the second game. He was, yes, himself and Gunalithika, they opened the second game. But he plays his shots, and he looks a natural stroke player. What happened today is the balls were not in his zone. He couldn't get it where he liked it. It wasn't up for him to play the drives. You saw him play a cracking drive of Fidel Edwards yesterday. There were none of these today. And so when you're not getting what you like, you tend to have to undo yourself, reinvent yourself, and take risks, which is what happened here. And he's back in the pavilion.
Well, Angela Matthews comes into strike, and at the end of over number 26, 6 overs being bowled, 27 for 3. Sri Lanka in trouble here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds. They're in trouble. And Fabian Allen is being bowled out. 3 overs, 1 for 5. Allen comes into bowl to Matthew. Matthew back and punching it out to the fielder, and they get a comfortable 2 runs. Jason Holder, don't want to say caught a little nap in, but a good pace, good a little stroke play there on the offside there. And Matthews off the mark with a comfortable 2. I think Matthews is due for some runs here today, Darwin. Yeah, he certainly has not come alight in this series here so far, and he's been out to some soft dismissals. Today maybe could be his day. Allen comes into bowl to Matthews. Matthews back and stroking it again out to the sweeper. And coming around nicely there is Lendell Simmons, who has to do the work on the offside. And the score goes up to 30 for 3, 30 for 3. Chandamal is 9, 30 for 3. The run rate is 4.74. 3 runs of Allen's 4th over so far, 1 for 8. And he's really spun the ball today from the media center. And he's in now the ball to Chandamal, who eases out and gets another easy single. He goes up to 10. And the West Indies really look drilled today. You could see everybody, a sense of purpose. They've just lifted the game. And that catch by Kevin Sinclair, you'll talk about that for a very, very, very long time. He really kept his composure, and he really has lifted this West Indies team here. 21-year-olds, some youth and experience blending in, 31 for 3.
Young legs, a Springer.
Young legs, as you would say. Matthews is 3, he comes into strike. Chandamal is 10 on the non-strikers end. Fabian Allen, he comes in out the bowl to Matthew. Matthew comes quietly forward looking for a single, certainly not on, because Kyron Pollard is sneaking around like one of those big tigers right there from backward point. He can't score. The score remains on 31 for 3, went over number 7. Allen 1 for 9, run rate 4.65. Sri Lanka won the toss and batting first. Allen from the media center and into bowl to Matthews. He's back and cracking it. Pass point down to the boundary for 4. And he played that real late. And the first real bad delivery, offline delivery by Fabian Allen, and earlier clock. That was really a good shot for Angela Matthews. He put that away, and it was really a light shot. Waited on it, played it late, and he was just sort of looking for that. And earlier clock, Matthews just pounced on that, and Fabian Allen knows that, hey, come on, I've got to be a lot more tighter. Don't want to end with any boundaries. Matthews is 7, 35 for 3, bang on target, and that's a good delivery right there. So over number 7 comes to an end, and Fabian Allen's spell, beautiful spell, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 13, a brilliant bowling caught. He had 15 dot balls in that spell, and that was very important, Darwin.
Certainly a beautiful spell here by a young man who deserves it. He's played this. This is the 3rd game in this series. The first 2 didn't really perform to the level that he would have liked to, I'm sure. He didn't bowl much in the first game. He had 2 overs in the second game. He was bowled through here. And when you can come on and bowl 4 overs in an international T20 match and get 13 runs score for you, even if you didn't get a wicket, that would have been an absolute brilliant effort by any bowler, but he picked up one that adds to it. So a beautiful spell by Allen, and I'm sure that's going to lift his fielding, maybe his batting. So a little bit of more excitement coming here. As performances continue to emerge from different players, you can see the team actually gathering some momentum from it, and let's hope that this can permeate through most of the West Indies team.
7 overs bowled, the latest score here at Coolidge in this all-important final game. The winner takes the series, the CG Insurance Series. Holder will continue from the CIU Investment Unit end. He comes in now to bowl to Chandamal, who is getting a good lifted delivery just on about between middle and off and trying to play an uppercut, which he wanted to go over Mccoy's head once he got in contact with it. Missed it, and Puran, who's a short keeper, took an easy catch. No worry at all. Some 21 dot deliveries so far. Only 2 boundaries have been hit in Sri Lanka's innings of 35 for 3 in over number 8. Holder has upped the gear from the CION, moving in nicely. Goes past the umpire. In now the bowl to Chandamal. Chandamal is steering it beautifully. Simmons coming around nicely. That's beautiful work there by Simmons. And they get an easy single.
Nicely done. Scooping it up beautifully and getting ready to restrict them. They were thinking about a second one. And fielding like that certainly helps the bowler, and it keeps the pressure on. Fielding is also a very critical part of T20 games, Springer. If you can cut out 1s and 2s, you're saving runs, you're playing good defensive cricket, and we've seen some from the West Indies so far this evening.
Holder is in now to bowl to Matthews. Matthews is back and turning it, picking up his 8th run. Before this game, he would have scored 5-13, so he's really due for a big score, as we would say. Score goes up to 37 for 3. Chandamal is 11. He now comes back into strike. Matthews goes to 8. The run rate is 4.93. Holder so far has been able to just keep the pressure up, and the West Indies has just really look like a complete oil unit today. And they're moving into high gear. 37 for 3. Went over number 8. Chandamal is 11. Matthews is 8. And Holder from the CION. He comes in now. The ball to Chandamal, the right-hander. In now the ball to him, and that stopped on him. And he just sneaked it onto the onside. The big Chris Gale, Universe boss, comes around into all vast acres of land on the leg side in the mid-wicket area. He had to run from mid-wicket, short mid-wicket, right round to square leg. Good exercise for him. Score goes to 38 for 3. You'll be looking for some fireworks a little later tonight from him. Hope that he can get off. Holder, in the meantime, will be looking to try to keep the pressure on the Sri Lankan team. They're in trouble here at the Coolidge grounds in this all-important game. 38 for 3. Holder is in now to bowl to Matthew, a slow cutter, and he just worked it down to the fine leg boundary, and they pick up another single. So as Darwin said, they're not being able to get boundaries, but they've been able to more or less rotate the strike. But they need more than singles. They need some big overs, because on this ground, in a final game, I think you have to get anywhere close to 170, 180. We saw that 160 squeeze the West Indies in the second game, but we just never know what will be happening. 39 for 3. Holder is into his second over. 5 deliveries bowled so far. 4 singles been scored. Holder comes up now to bowl to Chandamal. Chandamal whipping it down to long on, and he get an easy single. So 8 overs have been completed. Sri Lanka batting first at 40 for 3. Chandamal is 12. Matthews is 9. More comments from you, Darwin, and then it will be the voice of the comments position replaced by Colin James.
And Holder, 2 overs, 8 runs. Quite happy with that. He's feeding off of the energy from Sinclair, who bowled quite well at the Citizen by Investment Unit. And Springer, you keep saying CIU. You've branded that end quite nicely, I must say. And I'm sure the Ministry of Finance of the Antiguan government, who's spent a great deal of effort in securing this ground for this type of cricket, must be really excited about that. And we are all experiencing something tonight. 1 up. The winner takes it, and West Indies hopefully can bring some joy to Coolidge tonight by taking the third and going 2-1. Colin.
Good evening, Colin.
Good evening, Darwin. Good evening, Vernon.
40 for 3, 8 overs. Kyron Pollard replaces the man himself, Fabian Allen. And so he would have to bowl tonight. Some 37 wickets so far in his T20 career. The West Indies captain comes in now to bowl to Chandamal, who just turns this around to short fine leg. Gale comes around, the Universe boss, and he's just practicing his golf stroke. He lobs this one to Puran. Score goes up to 41 for 3. Chandamal is on 13. He comes into strike. Matthews on 9 from 7. Good evening again to you, Colin. Your thoughts so far?
Very interesting to see that the West Indies captain, Pollard, has decided to bring himself into the attack. He didn't bowl in the previous 2 matches, so interesting move by him.
Certainly. He comes in now to bowl to Matthews. Matthews back on this, clipping this down to long on. Ravman Powell comes off the boundary and rifles a flat return into Nicholas Puran. Score goes up to 42 for 3. Pressure continues. In fact, the umpire is saying to Ravman Powell, please to get the ball up to the keeper. Run rate 5.04. Matthews is on 10. Chandamal is on 14. He comes back into strike. Some 2 singles of over number 9. Pollard from the media center and in out the ball to Shandamal, who's back and turning it out to the deep backward square leg boundary. Obed McCoy comes in and rifles a flat return, ricochets off there, and somebody saying to Obed, just make sure we get it into Nicholas Poran's glove. We already had a ricochet off the stumps from Nicholas Poran, which went for overthrows for 43 for 3. Pressure mounting here by the West Indies team, and they played the first part of this game excellent so far. Shandamal on 14, waits for Pollard. Into both teams, back and hitting this out to mid-wicket. Evan Lewis comes off the mid-wicket area, right in front of the cricket West Indies headquarters. And one bounce short to Nicholas Poran. Score goes up to 44 for 3. Shandamal 15. Matthews 11. It's all happening here in the all-important game. CG Insurance Super 20 Series, T20 Series. West Indies versus Sri Lanka. Historic for Antigua and Barbuda, and historic for the folks in the West Indies, and especially the Leeward Islands. Shandamal on 15, waits for Pollard. In out the ball to him, and he's flashing at this one. Missed it completely, and Pollard just calls for the ball. Dot ball. Some 4 singles off the over so far, and a dot ball is always important. 44 for 3. You want to be able to keep that pressure up. Oh, how well Fabian Allen has bowled. 4-0, 13-1, 15 dot balls. Get Colin to comment on his opening spell. Run rate 4.98. Shandamal 15, waits for Pollard. Into both teams, back and cracking that. Coming around quickly, there's Kevin Sinclair. Had a shy at the stump, missed completely, backed up on the onside by Ovid McCoy. Over number 9 completed. The latest score here, Coolidge Ground, in this West Indies versus Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka batting first, 45 for 3. Shandamal is 16. The captain, Angela Matthews, is 11. And more comments from Colin James.
Well, a very good over there by the West Indies captain, Kyron Pollard, keeping the batsmen relatively quiet. In a T20 game and you bowl one over, you bowl over and only concede just 5 runs, it says a lot about the bowling and the lack of ability by the Sri Lankan batsmen to really get the ball away. So the West Indies, no doubt, would have worked out their strategies for not only this game but throughout the T20 series. And from what I've discern is that they have decided that they will go with more medium pacers than out-and-out fast bowlers. Maybe just to take the pace off the ball and let the Sri Lankan batsmen work for their runs. And with the slow bowlers, especially Fabian Allen, who had excellent figures, I think the West Indies bowling plan is working so far.
Well, Obed McCoy comes into the attack. He replaces Jason Holder from the CIUN. He comes in out to bowl to Shandamal, back and turning this beautifully out to the field at the backward square. He gets a comfortable single. He goes up to 17, 46 for 3. We say happy birthday to the national hero of Antigua and Barbuda, Sir Vivian Isaac Alexander Richards, and to Colin James, because Liverpool lost again. And that is not a real good sign for Sir Viv and Sir Kirtley and Colin and Vincey Boyne and all those guys. Liverpool down again. Here is a good length delivery from McCall to Matthews. Stayed into the offside. Never walk alone. You know, you could imagine today is Sir Viv's birthday and he's losing on a day like today. Colin, what is happening?
Well, I think the team is going through a phase. It's part of...
Hold on, Colin. The last time you were here, you and Vincey, you guys said that you were going to make a run in the second half of this league. So you need to explain that to me, Colin. 46 for 3. McCoy is in out. To both to Matthews. He's caught behind. Beauty of a cutter. And Angela Matthews goes. Brilliant catch by Nicholas Poran. A cutter. Squared him up. Angela Matthews, and a lovely catch there. Sri Lanka in trouble. 46 for 4 in over number 10.
That was a brilliant delivery from McCoy there. Left arm coming around the wicket to the right-handed batsman and shaping to go away, and then maybe just holding its line, taking an outside edge and going through to the wicket-keeper Nicholas Poran. Excellent delivery, and a delivery that would have taken a wicket in any form of cricket. And this is really good going by the West Indies bowlers, and I just believe that the Sri Lankan batsmen just haven't come to grips with the variety in the West Indies bowling attack. The slow bowlers and the seamers who are bowling just about military medium in terms of, and getting a lot of slow deliveries, the Sri Lankan batsmen searching for these deliveries, and on that occasion Matthew searching for one and edging to the wicketkeeper.
Well, one thing you could pick up, Colin, because you've been here for most of the games, which is organized by Cricket West Indies for the Super 50. You really have to bowl the ball between wicket and wicket on these pitches here. And we saw today a different length from especially Fabian Allen, who turned the ball really a lot today. And Kevin Sinclair, he really concentrated some more. Ashan Bandara comes in to strike. He's got an exciting career so far. He's only got 100, 17 innings, 329 runs. So they'll be looking for a build-up here. A poor series for Angelo Matthews, 5-13-11 today. But he's back in the hut, 46 for 4, win to over number 10. And Obed McCoy has been impressive so far in this series, Colin.
Yes, certainly he has done well. He has repaid the confidence that the selectors have shown in him, and he just continues to be there and thereabout and picking up wickets at crucial times.
His variety has been cooling. Here is him with a good length delivery, and Bandara's eyes maybe not opened up yet. It was offline and he missed it just because it was his first delivery. And but a beautiful delivery there to dismiss Angelo Matthews and Nicholas Puran. You'll be gleeful when you get those. You keep your eyes on it. You throw that up. West Indies team sponsored by Sandals, one of the real main partners in this competition. Just look at Obed McCoy, the left-arm seamer from the CIUN, in out the ball to Bandara, squeeze him up again, can't score. Simmons coming in from backward point there. They can't score. The pressure continues here on Sri Lanka. 46 for 4, went over number 10. Chandamal is 17. Bandara is just coming. He's faced 2 deliveries. He's not. And the scoreboard doesn't look a pretty scoreboard at all. Colin went over number 10. 46 for 4. At the end of this over, it'll be the voice of Garfield Burford. And so we'll have Garfield Burford and Colin James. 46 for 4. Here is McCoy. Bang on delivery, but in the end, I think it will be signal leg bys as he rushed into the pads of Bandara. Joel Wilson now raising his hand and signaling. Over number 10 completed. The latest score here at the Coolidge Cricket Ground. Sri Lanka batting first. They are 47 for 4. Chandamal is 17. Bandara is not. McCoy, beautiful over in which he picked up a wicket.
Yeah, just 2 runs conceded from that over, a single and a leg by, and most importantly the wicket of the Sri Lankan captain Angelo Matthews. And really good bowling by the West Indies bowlers this evening here at the Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua. And McCoy with the left arm are bringing that another dimension to the West Indies bowling attack. His left arm seamers and getting the ball just to slant away a bit from the batsman, and also bringing it into the batsman as well. Has done an excellent job in his first over, and Captain Kyron Pollard will continue from here, the southern end. Good evening, Garfield.
Good evening, Colin. As here comes Kyron Pollard, and this one is punched into the covers down to the sweeper on the cover boundary. They get 1 run. Fabian Allen is down there as the sweeper on the cover boundary. 1 more run. And the score now goes up to 48 for 4. 48 for 4. They're striking at 4.70 runs and over. So that's the run rate. 4.70 runs and over. Chandamal comes back on strike with that single Bandara. Well, Bandara is actually off the mark now. So Chandamal on 17 off 18 comes back on strike. If they score this run rate, they'll get to about 94. This one is just a late cut down to, displayed late down to the short third man position. 1 run. So Chandamal moves on to 18 now, 49 for 4, 49 for 4. Let's remind you the 2 teams. West Indies making 1 change. So Robin Powell coming in for Fiddle Edwards, Lendl Simmons, Evan Lewis, Christopher Gale, Nicholas Puran, Kyron Pollard, Jason Holder, Robin Powell, Fabian Allen, Dwayne Bravo, Kevin Sinclair, and Obed McCoy. Here comes Kyron Pollard, none for 7 in his second over. He's up to the wicket, bowls. This one is a slow delivery displayed into the covers. They get a quick single. As Kevin Sinclair fields there at square cover, they get 1 run. So that has brought up the 50 now. So 50 for 4 with that single from Bandara. Chandamal comes back on strike. He's on 18. Just before Colin comes back in, the side for Sri Lanka, Angelo Matthews, the captain, Danushka Gunathalika, Patham Nisanka, Nirashan Dikwala, Dinesh Chandamal, Ashan Bandara, Tesira Pereira, Wanindu Hasaranga, Akila Dhananjay, Dushmantha Chimera, and Lakshan Sandakan. Here comes Kyron Pollard from the southern end. He's up to the wicket to bowl. This one is just played into the onside, into that mid-wicket position. Field coming off is Evan Lewis of that out deep on the onside. They get 1 more run, so 51 for 4 now. 51 for 4. Chandamal moves on to 19. Bandara on 2.
Yes, Pollard continues to do the job that he would have asked of his bowlers, and he's setting the example. Just 4 runs so far in this over, and he's just making sure the Sri Lankan batsmen keep on playing honest.
Here comes Karen Pollard, the captain, and this one is a short delivery. Almost an interesting kind of shot there. He's just waiting to possibly, with a premeditated shot, and just had to play it square on the outside. They get one more run, so 52 for 4 now. One ball left in over number 11.
The amusing thing about that delivery was how Pollard bowled it. He was actually doing somewhat of a round action, 2 or 3 paces before he actually released the ball.
Interesting. It certainly discombobulated the batsman. So Chandimal comes back on strike. Bandara, by the way, with that single, has gone on to 3. Chandimal on 19 off 20. He certainly would want to stay there for his side. He's facing up now. This one, another slow delivery. That's 6 singles in the over. That one is played into the offside. The captain, Karen Pollard, coming on the field. The batsmen get one more run. So after 11 overs, 53 for 4. If they score at the current run rate, they get 96, which would be very subpar. Chandimal on 20, Bandara on 3. The latest score here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds.
Well, you get the impression by the fact that the West Indies would have left out Fidel Edwards out of their squad and replaced him with Rovman Powell, who I think they're considering to be a low order batsman in terms of where he might place. Yeah, he can bowl as well, but the point I want to make is that they have taken out the express fast bowler in Fidel Edwards and replaced him with someone who might be able to bowl gentle medium paces. And the fact that Pollard is bowling tells me that they have worked out that the Sri Lankan batsmen want the ball to come onto the bat.
This one is swung down to the deep, and that one just goes through the fielder for 4. So a new over started there by Kevin Sinclair, the guilty partner there. The new over started by Obed Mccoy. That one was swung down to backward square leg. The ball just one bounce, and Kevin Sinclair ought to have done better there. The ball just eluding him into the boundary, and Obed Mccoy is not a happy camper. He figures that should have just been 1. Instead it's 4. 57 for 4 now. Chandimal rushes up to 24.
Might have had a little awkward bounce before the ball got to him, but at this level of cricket, you should be saving those. No excuse whatsoever.
Indeed, 5.10 the run rate now. Here comes Obed Mccoy, the left arm seamer. This one is punched again down, pulled down to backward square leg. This time Kevin Sinclair fields it properly. Just 1 run to the score, 58 for 4. Chandimal moves up to 25. Bandara on 3 comes back into strike, 58 for 4. The score, the Sri Lankans certainly would have been hamstrung by the spinners. They were certainly they were put into a chokehold by the spinners at the top. Weren't able to get the ball off the square, and certainly Fabian Allen caught and bowled to dismiss Gunathalika, who certainly was the one who laid the foundation in previous matches. That was a real blow to the jugular for the Sri Lankans. So the scoring at 5.10. Chandimal on 24 faces up now to Obed Mccoy, and this one looking to just almost a pull paddle. Instead, the ball is going to the offside, instead down to a short third band position. Jason Holder coming off the boundary at third band to field. One more run, 59 for 4.
This is going to be a crucial partnership if it's going to mean anything for the Sri Lankan team. This has to be the partnership that they need to take them above maybe a score of 130, 140. If these two batsmen are dismissed in quick succession, it's all over for Sri Lanka.
This one is outside the off stump. The umpire had a look at it. No wide signal. That one outside the off stump. So if they continue at this rate, 101 they'll get to. That one was taken by the wicketkeeper Nicholas Puran. Wide outside the off stump. And that was a back of the hand. Came out of the back of the hand. It was very marginal because it actually was almost on that line that is used to guide the umpires in relation to the wides. But no wide signal. 59 for 4. 2 balls left in over number 12. So far, McCoy 1 for 7 is in his second over. Chandimal on 25 faces up. This time that will be wide signal. So he's trying his luck again with that delivery. This time it was back of a length delivery, but too wide outside the on stump. That one going outside that line. That guy's the umpire. Wide signal, 1 more to the score, 60 for 4.
Just losing his line with that delivery, McCoy, but just keeping the theme of the West Indies bowling attack is to maybe just take the pace of the delivery, bowl it just wide of off stump and let the batsmen search for it.
So remind you that in 2020, the first 6 overs, power play maximum 2 fielders outside the circle, and the other overs, maximum 5 outside the circle. This one is turned down to backward square, and coming off the boundary there is Kevin Sinclair doing the fielding, rifling the return back in. He would certainly have been disappointed with his own effort earlier in the over, and certainly now he is making sure that he has all his I's dotted and his T's crossed, rifling that one in. 1 more to the score, 61 for 4. 1 ball left in over number 12.
Yes, McCoy slanting that one a little bit down the onside and turned into the onside by the batsman in Chandimal getting a single. They're looking very busy, these two batsmen, in terms of trying to get the singles. This is good, but they're going to have to get the occasional boundary, either the maximum or 4.
Here comes Obed Mccoy to bowl the last ball of this over, and this one just looking to just cut it into the offside, missing the ball taken by Nicholas Pradhan, the wicketkeeper. The end of over number 12, 61 for 4, Chandimal on 26, Bandara on 4. If they continue at this run rate at 5.08, they'll get to 102, what you would have to consider to be subpar at this level of T20s, but they'll be looking to press on with these two batsmen.
Well, they're sharing some sort of a joker in the middle of both batsmen, and maybe they're just saying themselves, look, we have another 8 overs to go. Let's see if we can up the scoring rate, and let's see how close we can get up to 100 and then take it from there. But the West Indies bowlers obviously will have other ideas, because Dwayne Bravo is coming in to replace Kyron Pollard, and we know he can bowl a mixture of full pitch deliveries, slow deliveries, cutters, and he just have a repertoire of deliveries that can make the difference in terms of taking wickets.
Here comes here comes Dwayne Bravo. This one is just turned down to a short third-man position. They get one. They were looking for another one from the ricochet of the stumps, but had to stay the creases. So Chandimal moving up by 1 now, 62 for 4 the score. Chandimal moves up to 27. Bandara on 4 comes back on strike. He's a 5th bowler. Dwayne Bravo being brought in. Fabian Allen, 4 overs, no maidens, 13 runs, 1 wicket. He was absolutely impressive. Kevin Sinclair, 2 overs, no maidens, 19 runs, 1 wicket. Jason Holder, 2 overs, no maidens, 8 runs, 1 wicket. Kyron Pollard, 2 overs, no maidens, 11 runs, no wickets. And Obed Mccoy, 2 overs, no maidens, 9 runs, 1 wicket. Here comes Dwayne Bravo bowls, and this one is just played into the offside. He has to retreat. Bandara, he was looking for the quick single, but Chandimal not interested, sent him back. He had to scurry back to his crease. The score remains 62 for 4. Bandara remains on 4. In terms of the wickets to have fallen so far, the 4, Danushka Gunathalika, caught and bowled brilliantly by Allen, really plucking the ball out with his right hand out of the air as that one was swung back to him by Danushka Gunathalika. He was out for 9, facing 9 deliveries, 1-4. Pathum Nisanka caught Sinclair, bowled Holder for 5, faced 13. Nirashan Dikwala caught Holder, bowled Sinclair for 4, facing 6. And Angela Matthews caught Pradhan, bowled Mccoy, caught behind. This one is struck back to the very, very powerfully struck back to Dwayne Bravo, and he's wringing his hand there, his right hand, because that was struck with some fire on it. They have no score from that. 62 for 4, the score remains.
Yes, so far in this over, Bravo has varied the pace of his deliveries. The first one actually maybe bounced twice before it got to the batsman, and he was waiting on it for ages before it got to him. And then we have seen some deliveries which were just about full length deliveries, and the one that was struck back, that Bravo fielded to his own bowling. Although powerfully, he was actually anticipating, I believe, that shot from the batsman.
Indeed. So the 5 outfielders, of course, power play 1 has, for the first 6 overs, a maximum of 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle. The remaining overs, a maximum of 5 outside the circle. I'll tell you who those 5 are. Here comes Dwayne Bravo. Starts again from the southern end. Just an ambling in, and this one is this one will be signaled wide down the leg side. One more to the score, 63 for 4. 63 for 4. The fielders, outfielders. So there is a long on. There is a deep mid wicket, a deep square leg. Those are on the leg side, and on the offside, the 2 outfielders are a deep cover, almost a deep point, and there is a long off. Here comes Dwayne Bravo. Starts again to bowl to Bandara. He's up to the wicket and bowls. This one is a slower delivery. You had to wait ages for that one. It's turning it. That's behind square leg, getting 1 run. Christopher Gale doing the fielding there, and they get 1 more. 64 for 4. Bandara moving up by 1. 64 for 4 in this, the 13th over. The batsmen have really not been able to get the ball off the square. They've really been tied down, I call it.
Yeah, and that's the point I've been making. Ever since this T20 series started, the West Indies bowlers have just taken the pace of the deliveries. They're just putting it there for the Sri Lankan batsmen to go after them. They call it bowling in the slot.
Here comes this one is struck back along the pitch. He went for power there. Absolutely no timing. The ball is trickling back out on the onside. Running around is Dwayne Bravo to do the fielding. One more delivery left in over number 13. So far, 3 runs conceded from DJ Bravo's first over. Chandimal on 27 off 27. He's striking at 100. And Bandara 5 from 11. This is over number 13. 64 for 4. They're scoring at a shade under 5 and over, 4.96 to be exact. If they continue at this rate, they'll get to around 100. They'll have to up the tempo. Here comes Dwayne Bravo. He's up to the wicket and bowls, and this one is just struck down to long on. Coming off the boundary is Robin Powell. They get 1 run, so at the end of over number 13, 65 for 4, 65 for 4. Bandaro on 5, he'll take strike in the next over. Chandimal on 28. The latest score here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds. More comments from calling number time for Vernon Springer.
Well, once again, we see the mixed bag of deliveries from Dwayne Bravo. We saw a graphic on the TV where they were showing how he bowls into the slot, and it's a tactic that the West Indies bowlers are using in this series. I really don't know how effective it's going to be against maybe a better batting team, a team such as maybe an India, an Australia, even a Pakistani team. It's good that you can work out your opponent and bowl a particular line, a particular length, and have a strategy for them. But I hope that they have a B plan when the batsmen are able to read the ball coming out of the bowlers and wait on it and maybe put it away.
Holder 2-0, 8-1 comes back into the track. He's just whipped away beautifully and goes past the fielder at mid-wicket down to the boundary for 4. And just for a moment, I don't know if Fabian Allen coming around there lost it to look away, but it bounced onto his right side and into the boundary for 4. A boundary that Sri Lanka really would have needed at this time. Holder coming and just missing his length completely there, more or less middle and leg. And Chandimal whipped that one beautifully away. Goes up to 32, 69 for 4, 69 for 4. Bandara on 5 from 11. Chandimal 32-29, run rate 5.24. So far, Sri Lanka, they've only hit 4 boundaries in this innings. Holder comes in to bowl to Chandimal. Short delivery, staying that down to third man. Coming off the third man area right in front of us at the media center end is the left-hander Obed Mccoy, who just lobs a 1 bounce return to Nicholas Puran, who is keeping tonight, 70 for 4. Bandara comes in to strike. This is Holder's 3rd over. And just to give you an idea in terms of Sri Lanka's 50, 68 balls, 42 minutes, 2 boundaries. So the West Indies have been very, very disciplined. I think what really started the whole scenario is that excellent bowl and caught by Fabian Allen from Jamaica. It was brilliant from him. Holder from the CIUN comes in now to bowl to Bandara. Now to bowl to Bandara, the right hander, he just turns it beautifully down to the fine leg fielder, Kevin Sinclair, who's improving game by game in his fielding. And it's just a joy for him to be in the West Indies team, playing between Chris Gale, Pollard, the likes of Evan Lewis. Sure, he would have been dreaming about this for some time, Colin, to make the West Indies team maybe in 2 years' time. It came quicker than normal.
Yes, and certainly, I wouldn't say a dream start, but a good start from him. And he just wants to be out there and wants to continue doing well for the West Indies.
Chandimal 33 waits for Holder to bowl to him, slow deliveries. Pulling this one down to the long off fielder. A little misfield there first by Ravman Powell, but he recovered nicely to get the return back in. So good rebound here so far by the West Indies. And they're keeping the pressure on Sri Lanka. 72 for 4. Some 4 overs, 4 deliveries bowled in this over so far of Jason Holder's 3rd. He's been impressive in this tournament. And has looked really good control. He knows when to step up a gear. He knows when to bowl the slub bumper. He knows when to bowl the off cutters. He's bowled well. He comes in now to bowl. That was a real slow bumper. It took a year and $1 million to get to Bandara. And he's short already, so he had to be stretching for it. Almost like a tennis lob delivery. Your coach practicing with Joel Wilson trying to signal to Holder as a 1 per over. Well, the Holder says, it's all right. I got that one. He bowled that one from the back of his hand. And took a year and $1 million. It's a good change of pace. The slow delivery so far has frustrated the Sri Lankan batsman in this game. Went to over number 14, 73 for 4. Chandimal is on 34. He looks businesslike. Waits for Holder. Comes in now to bowl to him, pitched up, and he's just whipping this beautifully. Coming off the mid-wicket era is Fabian Allen. This time they can't think about the second run. Over number 14 is completed. The latest score here at Coolidge Ground, Sri Lanka 74 for 4. Chandimal 34, Bandara 7.
Yeah, that's what, 9 9 runs from the over. It's a good over in terms of a T20 game, in terms of 9 runs coming out, but in the context of the match, the Sri Lankans will be looking for much more than they got in that over. But again, you know, the West Indies bowlers bowled into a plan, and it's good to see that they have a plan and they're working towards it. But these two Sri Lankan batsmen know that they really have to get after this bowling in some way. For me, they need maybe just to maybe step out a little bit out of their crease and try to see how much they can read the deliveries that is coming out of the hands of the West Indies bowlers, because they're slowing they're cutting the pace of the deliveries. So the Sri Lankan batsmen have to know how to deal with it. And with Dwayne Bravo, it's not going to be an easy prospect.
West Indies have turned up tonight. Just to let you know, the Indian Premier League will start on the 9th of April and close on the 30th of May 2021 with the finals. 6 venues in India. Bravo in now to bowl to Chandamalus on driving down to Pollard. Pollard will be returning for the Mumbai Indians. Score goes up to 75 for 4. 75 for 4. It's all happening here at the Coolidge Ground. Chandamalus 36. 56 games, Colin. 11 double headers. Played across 6 cities in India. And lots to play for, because this is the T20 World Cup year. And the CPL in the Caribbean will start from the 25th of August to the 17th of September. Here comes Bravo as he comes in now to bowl to Bandara. Bandara is sweeping to a slow delivery from DJ Bravo. Length there, and he only able to get one as he goes down to the deep backward square leg fielder. Robert McCoy cleaning up there. Score goes up to 76 for 4. So Bandara goes up to 8. And Bravo is just mixing his deliveries. They're getting slower and slower. 1 for 26, 2 for 25 in this tournament. He's bowled well, Colin.
Yes, has been the bowler that the West Indies has been caught upon at the depth.
Here comes DJ Bravo. He comes in now to bowl to Chandamal. Chandamal is back and cracking that beautifully. Past Fabian Allen, down to the boundary for 4. Had room. And it was offline, and Chandamal has been there for some time. He got back onto that and played it late enough and down to the boundary for 4. Once it got past Allen, no way you could be chasing on the Coolidge cricket ground, and he quickly goes up to 40. A little byplay between Captain Karan Pollard and some of the Sri Lankan fielders as he's right in front of them. They're saying to him, don't care how many runs we make tonight, we're going to bowl out the West Indies. So Pollard went over and asked, are you sure? 80 for 4. DJ Bravo bongs in nicely to bowl to Chandamal's 40. He's playing at that had a little bit more pace on it. And he wasn't slow at all. That one really, that was his stop ball, which really just put a little effort into it, a little slow off cutter. And he was looking for an expansive drive again. Missed everything completely, Chandamal, but he's still there. Sri Lanka will need him there for the entire 20. The run rate is 5.45. He's 40. Bandara is 8 from 14. DJ Bravo is into his second over, not for 10. And the West Indies have been clinical this evening. Really clinical. No catches have been dropped, and they've been on point here. 80 for 4 over number 15. DJ Bravo comes in now to bowl to Chandamal's on driving out to the mid-wicket fielder. Haven't seen Evan Lewis field many balls for the night, but he's fielding one there. Got to be careful. Got to get that right up there because he got the strips here at Coolidge. That hit a little bit of the ridge and went over Puran, who is short. He would have needed to get a 6-foot ladder to stop that one. 81 for 4. Chandamal is 41. Bandara is 8. What do you think is Sri Lanka's predicted score, Colin?
Well, from the look of it, maybe 115, 120 if they can get there.
Bandara is hoisting this one in the air. Evan Lewis is coming around from mid-wicket, but they'll only get one. And just for a moment, Bravo was holding his head that he would hold out to Evan Lewis. Over number 15 completed. Latest score here at Coolidge Cricket Grounds. Sri Lanka batting first at 82 for 4. Chandamal is 41. Bandara is 9.
Just 8 runs coming from that over. A boundary, which was a good shot from Chandamal. And I think that delivery that Bravo bowled, that Chandamal struck for the boundary square of the wicket, I think that one was a quicker delivery from Bravo, and the batsman was on the back foot and waiting for it and punching it away. The other deliveries were slow, and every time he bowls a slow delivery and the batsmen have to come forward, they almost overarching themselves and looking somewhat ungainly as they play some of these shots, and the slow deliveries have continued to work for the West Indies, and it still amazes me how the Sri Lankan batsmen have not worked out what the West Indies bowlers are doing with these slow deliveries.
10, 15, 27, 46. That's the Sri Lankan wickets that they've lost so far. 4 back in the hut, and Mccoy is into his second over, 1 for 9 before this. In our bowl stream, and he's slapping this one bounce down to Ravman Powell. It looked like it was going all the way to him, but there was no pace on that slow delivery from Mccoy. So, Bandara really didn't get the power and the elevation. He was bowled from the back of his hand. He was a little wide, and he really couldn't get the elevation to hit that over Ravman Powell's head. That's the longer part of the boundary here on this ground. Ravman Powell coming in for Fidel Edwards today. 83 for 4, went over number 16. Chandamal on 41. He's played nicely. He's been organized. Mccoy, left arm seam from the CIA, and he gets a slow delivery again and just pulled it down to the deep backward square leg fielder. Coming around nicely is Kevin Sinclair. And good work here by the young man from Ghana. Sean Devers. Bandara. Bandara looks like he's just changing his bat. So maybe he sent for the long angle, Colin. 84 for 4.
Long handle or not, you have to get bat onto ball. And that's what they have not been able to do consistently in terms of getting the ball out, over the top or getting the ball down to the boundary for 4. They are getting ones, the occasional 2s, but they need boundaries if they're going to get up to 120, 130.
Mccoy comes in out to bowl to Bandara. He's going again for delivery. They'll be advised to maybe look to hit the ball over cover, Colin, rather than going to the mid-wicket area. 84 for 4. We say good evening to Vinod Manchan in Trinidad and Tobago, Sean Devers in Ghana, Joseph Reds Pereira in St. Lucia, Keith Carty and those guys in St. Martin, Terry Adams, all the guys who are glued in and following via the West Indies YouTube channel. And in case you may be looking at it at the Flow TV, it's all happening all around. The winner captures the series, 1-all. Mccoy in now to bowl to Bandara. He's hoisting that over square leg for 6. First CG maximum here in this third game. A welcome hit, 90 for 4. He goes to 60 and Chandamal is 42.
Well, that one was in the slot. It was almost a half volley. He turned it into a half volley and just swatted it over the mid-wicket boundary for 6. It was a delivery that he almost was waiting on, and it came into his half of the pitch, and he went length on it and struck it over mid-wicket for 6. Good shot. They need some more of these if they're going to get up to a competitive total.
Well, it's set up because it was real short, and he had all the time in the world. 5 4s and 1 6 so far in this Sri Lankan innings. 90 for 4, went over number 16. The run rate is 5.74. Bandara 16. Waits for McCall. McCall is squeezing this one over backward point. Evan Lewis is coming around. He won't get there. Into the boundary for 4. Once it hit the practice nets area, it's going to race away. And then all of a sudden, 12 runs off the over so far. 5 deliveries bowled. McCall 1 for 21. And Sri Lanka moving into high gear, 94 for 4.
Well, that shot was a deliberate shot from him. He was trying to maybe get it over cover or extra cover, but it came off the outside portion of the bat and went away over the square fielder for 4. Lewis trying his best to stop it, but couldn't.
Here comes Mccoy in the 16th over, now to bowl to Bandara. Bandara is whipping this out to the mid-wicket fielder. Coming around nicely is who? The man himself, Fabian Ali. He's got a strong arm. 1 bounce into Nicholas Puran. Over number 16 completed. Sri Lanka 95 for 4. Over number 16 completed. Chandamal goes to 42. Bandara is 21. And the latest score here, the Coolidge Cricket Ground, Sri Lanka batting first. They want to set the West Indies a decent score total here tonight. They got their spinners coming in, and trust me, it could be a problem here tonight. The last over for McCoy cost him 13 runs, Colin.
Well, yeah, 13 runs could be the most expensive over by a West Indies bowler in this match so far, and 13 welcome runs for the Sri Lankan total, taking them up to 95. But while I believe that the West Indies bowlers or the West Indies think tank would have worked out how to bowl to the Sri Lankan batsmen, it will be interesting to see how the West Indies batsmen approach the Sri Lankan spinners when their turn come to bat, because in the first 2 matches, although the West Indies would have won the first and lost the second one, I don't think most of the West Indies batsmen were reading the Sri Lankan spinners. But let me say happy birthday and good evening to Sir Isaac Vivian Richards, and as I make way for Darwin to take over in this over.
Yeah, They'll have to be able to turn over and get some more singles. Got to be important. Too many dot balls in both games, and this is something that I think that Coach Simmons highlighted at the press conference. Jason Holder, he's back from the media center end. 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 17. He comes in now to bowl to Bandaro's driving this down the ground. Going past Mudoff, down to the boundary for 4. That's a lovely shot. It was in the slot, and Holder knows that he's got to hit the deck here because we're coming into the, what we say, the happy hour or the happy ending. And Bandara is looking to move into overdrive. Karen Pollard comes up and says, listen, that's a short guy. Let's give him some, some under his ribs. We can't be pitching up anything. Nothing at all here. Holder knows that. The partnership so far, Colin, 53 runs off 42 balls between Chandamal and Bandara. Very impressive so far. 99 for 4. Jason Holder turns. And he'll go past the umpire very quickly. In Patrick Gostard. And bowls a good delivery. So that's a good dot ball. Dot balls are also very important, Colin.
Yes, and he was coming outside of the line of the delivery, trying to, maybe get bat onto it. Well, obviously trying to get bat onto it, but didn't get anything. My observation is that had he maybe played inside the line of the delivery, it would have gone down the onside and might be signaled wide.
Bravo, DJ Bravo and Holder having a discussion. In fact, Bravo is saying, why don't you push me back and play it safe and bring somebody up here? But Holder says, no, I'm not going to try that. The debate still continues. Pollard down at long on is not in the debate. Let's see.
Pollard gone back.
At the meantime, Bravo was not able to convince him, did he?
Yes,
he did.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
All right. So Rovman Powell goes back?
Yes.
Okay, so Rovman Powell goes back now down to long off and long on. So the third man comes up inside the circle. So DJ Bravo, experienced talking. Holder comes in now to bowl to Bandar. Bandar is swicking this one over there. I think for a moment, Evan Lewis looked like he lost it out of the crowd. He was picking it up. 100 up for Sri Lanka. And Pollard asking Evan Lewis, he says that he didn't see it coming out there. So we're not out there. 100 for 4 in 16.3 overs.
I mean, the Sri Lankan coach, Mickey Hart, is as amazed as you and I, why Evan Lewis didn't go after that one. He's saying that he couldn't see it. I'm wondering what could have obscured his vision.
Their second 50 came out 36 deliveries. 100 for 4. Holder in over number 17 comes in now to bowl to Chandamal. Chandamal is driving beautifully, and they only get 1 run. So DJ Bravo, in his static, what he was talking about, Colin, was making sure that had him been in the circle, that would have gone maybe over him. This time, making sure that he closed off the single right there. Score goes up to 101 for 4. Chandamal is 43 from 38. Bandara has quickly gone up from 26 to 23.
Maybe since the 2016 World Cup, this is the most experienced West Indies team on the field. And, with Bravo and Pollard and Holder, they can talk. They can talk.
Holder is in now to bowl to Bandara. Again, he's just driving down to long off. Who's there? Rovman Powell. So 7 runs off the over so far. This is Holder's 4th over. He's been impressive so far in this series. The last 23 balls, Sri Lanka scored some 37 runs. Chandamal is on 43. He comes into strike. Bandara is 27. At the end of this over, it'll be a double change. It'll be Garfield Burford. Colin will have the final comments, and then Darwin Telemack and Garfield Burford will bring it home. For some team, don't know which one. We'll find out. Holder, some 7 runs off the over so far. 5 deliveries bowled in over number 17. 102 for 4. That's the latest score here at Coolidge. Holder looking to get a wicket. He comes in now to bowl to Chandamal. Slow off cutter. Chandamal is back and punching this out to the sweeper. Who's coming around there? Looks like it's going to be Fabian Allen. Real magnificent work there from the young man. He had to run at least about 15 meters, and he's a Jamaican sprinter. He got around there and saved 1 run at least, Colin. At least 1 run. Maybe that might be the run that might help the West Indies to win. Over number 17 completed. The latest score here, 105 for 4. Chandamal is 46. Bandara is 27. Jason Holder, 4-0. 27-1, 4-0, 27-1. And just to complement that, Colin, if we look in terms of the spell by Fabian Allen, that's been impressive. Comments from you, and then will be Garfield Burford.
Well, an overweight, the Sri Lankan batsmen were trying to up the run rate, but Jason Holder was able to hold his own in that over. Conceded a boundary of the first delivery, but with some field adjustments, he was able to come back well in the over. And good chase around the boundary by Fabian Allen, moving to his right and stopping the ball from going into the boundary, saving a run, which is also important in a T20 game. And it just leaves to see what will happen in the next 3 overs, how much the Sri Lankans can get. I know Darwin wants the Sri Lankans to get no less than 130, but they were looking for more than that. And as Garfield comes in to bring the ball-by-ball commentary, he's hoping that the West Indies can restrict them for nothing more than 120 or so.
Here comes Dwayne Bravo. Thank you so much, Colin. And this one is looking to make an almighty swing. The ball just trickling out of the offside. They get 1 run. Chandimal moves up to 47. The score 106 for 4, 106 for 4. If they continue at this rate, they'll get to 123. Which would be a shade over a run of ball for the West Indies to chase. But let's see whether or not they can actually up the ante as we say thank you so much to Vernon Springer and Colin James, and welcome back Darwin Telemack. This is the start of over number 18. Chandimal on 47 brings Bandara on 27 back onto the strike. Bandara on 27 from 24. Chandimal on 47 or 40. So both batsmen have done well. They've actually rescued the innings. A 60-run partnership so far. Here comes Dwayne Bravo. He'll be starting again from the northern end, and the 100 for the, I'll tell you about the stats for the 100 for the Sri Lankans after this delivery from Dwayne Bravo. He's up to the wicket and bowls, and again, look, the ball almost identical in terms of what happened to the previous delivery, looking to make that one, perhaps hit it down to long on, but the ball is trickling out into the offside, square in the offside. 1 more run to the score. Bandara moving on to 28 now. The score 107 for 4, 107 for 4. The 100 for the Sri Lankans came in 70 minutes, 101 balls, with 16.3 overs, 7 fours and 1 6. 7 fours and 1 6. That maximum that was hit earlier on. So 107 for 4 as we wait for another delivery from Dwayne Bravo. Starting again from the northern end, up to the wicket to bowl to Chandimal, and Chandimal this time he gets it down to long on. There is a chase around here for Jason Holder, and they get 2 good running in the end. The Bandara had to dive in at the non-strikers end, but they got 2, putting pressure there on Jason Holder, and that's the kind of urgency that you expect in the latter overs. Certainly very, very good running, very urgent running as Jason Holder got that returning, couldn't stop the second.
Well run by Bandara. He was intent on making it 2 and made it back in safely. Must say that Bravo has really stepped up here, bowling some very craftily, cunning bowling by Bravo, mixing it up so nicely.
Here comes that Bravo. He's up to the wicket and bowls, and this one is hit down to long on. Jason Holder again comes down to field. This time there's no chance of a second, and that's the 54 Chandimal. Dinesh Chandimal gets his 50 of 41 deliveries. Fantastic innings so far by Dinesh Chandimal. 50 or 42 deliveries actually. And this is the 18th over, 110 for 4, 110 for 4. 2 balls left in over number 18. Bandara on 28 from 25 comes back on strike. And if the Sri Lankans are to get any sort of respectable total, I think these 2 batsmen, especially Chandimal, Chandimal, would certainly have to fire later.
Well, certainly with 2 overs left, 2.2 overs left. I think they are set. They're in. They've been picking up the pace of the pitch. They've been facing these bowlers. They're the ones who should be able to do it. But Bravo is really being crafty here. He's mixing it up well. They're trying to go for big ones, and he's putting it right in the block hole.
Here comes Bravo, and this one looking for the little paddle around the scoop, but missing. That one is premeditated by Bandara, just going outside the off stump, and a bit of an appeal there. The DRS timing is running out. I don't think there's any sort of interest by the West Indians in appealing this one. The timing is now at 3, 2, 1 and is up. They're not going to appeal it at all. So that one was the Bravo was appealing for possibly a niggle on that one, and then a caught behind, but they decided against going for the review. 6.17 the run rate, 110 for 4.
Paran made no move. Paran was not even interested in anything. It seemed like it was clear that Bravo was being a little bit over exuberant here, and that was quite an interesting shot though, because Bravo has been bowling the ball full on the middle stump, and Bandara still tried to scoop it over the stumps.
One ball left in over number 18. Here comes Bravo, and this one is that was an extraordinary shot. No pace on it. Bravo took all the pace off the ball, and there was Bandara looking for that almighty swing into the offside. Eventually the ball just trickles out. One more run to him. The score now goes up to 111 for 4. 111 for 4 after 18. 2 overs, 12 balls left. And they're scoring at 6.17 over. Chandimal on 50, Bandara on 29.
And these entire 3 games, we've been watching a masterclass here with Bravo. He has cut his pace at times. In some instances, he's taking it all out, completely out. He brings it full, he bowls it short, he pitches it where he wants to. He's actually doing what he wants. I think he has mastered the craft of delivering as he wishes to. And if you're watching these matches, watching Dwayne Bravo bowl as a young player, someone interested in learning how to do this, you are watching a very, very skilled person actually deliver in ways that it's just totally confusing the batsman. It's not express pace, it is not spin bowling, it is a combination of a new Dwayne Bravo, which is quite nice to see. And he's been doing it over the years, but we watched him in this series do it all through the 3 games. Quite nice.
It's going to be Obed McCoy to bowl his last over. 1 for 22 off his 3 so far. He's up and bowls this one wide outside the off stump, and that will be signaled wide. So 1 more to the score, and the extras going up by 1. So 112 for 4 now. 112 for 4. They're scoring at 6.22 runs and over. Obed McCoy now 1 for 23 off his 3 overs. Bandara on 29 taking strike. By the way, the 50 for Chandimal came from 42 balls, 61 minutes. And 3 fours in that 50, so he's really stuck around, and he's given his team an opportunity to get a respectable total. Here comes Obed McCoy. Starts again, bowls, and this one foolish delivery outside the off stump. The squeeze down to the sweeper on the cover boundary. 1 more. Fabian Allen comes off the cover boundary to field. 1 more. 113 for 4 now. 113 for 4. Bandara moving up to 30 brings Chandimal on 50 back on strike. The West Indies will be looking to get the Sri Lankans to squeeze them to as low a target as possible. They've certainly done well so far. Will there be a kind of blitzkrieg in the last few deliveries here? We have 5 and 11 deliveries left in this innings. 11 deliveries left. Can they really go berserk in the 11? Here comes Obed McCoy. He's up on bowls, and this one is squeezed down to the backward point area. 1 more to the total. Chandimal moves up to 51. The score 114 for 4. Again, classic death bowling here. Full outside of stump, difficult for the batsman to get under it, to get it out of elevation. They have to just squeeze it out for 1s and 2s.
Well, certainly some good coaching has taken place here. They know that if they bowl back the length, the Sri Lankans are going to hit across. They're not bowling any. Full outside off stump is what's being delivered here.
Here comes Obed McCoy. He's up and again outside the off stump. This one will be not signaled wide, actually. It looked to have been wide. Looked to have been just outside that line. The batsman is absolutely bemused. He cannot believe it. He's flabbergasted that that wasn't signaled wide. Earlier, one was signaled wide.
So am I.
Yes, it did look. It did look even wider than the first one that was signaled wide. But obviously, the plan is for Obed McCoy to bowl full, and that was well outside the line. The marker there. Here comes Obed McCoy. He's up and bowls, and this one is squeezed through the covers. They'll get at least Fabian Allen running around. They'll get 2 runs. So that was again full and wide outside the off stump, and getting some bat on that was Bandara, getting it to squeeze out to the cover, the sweeper on the cover boundary. 32, he moves up to 116 for 4. 2 balls left in over number 19. So 8 legal deliveries left. They're scoring at 6.21. They're desperate now to really up the ante, to ramp up the run rate and to get as many runs as possible, to give their spinners an opportunity to really bowl at the West Indies batsmen and to weave a web around them. This one is driven like a tracer bullet down to long on. The captain, Karen Pollard, comes off the field. 1 more run. 1 ball left in over number 19. 117 for 4. Bandara moving up to 33. Chandimal on 51 or 43 comes back on strike.
Beautiful bowling here by young Obed, and he's bowled pretty well. He also batted very well in the last game. I mean, the bowlers may have been giving him a few, but he certainly squacked it well. He's got his confidence up, and he's proven to be quite a nice spell here.
Here comes that. This delivery is struck hard into the pitch. It will trickle down just behind the stumps. Running off from the long on position is Kyron Pollard to field one more run to Chandimal. He moves on to 52 at the end of over number 19. That's the end of the 4 overs for Obed McCoy. 1 for 29 from his 4 overs. Strong performance by Obed McCoy. 4 overs, no maidens, 29 runs, 1 wicket, an economy of 7 1/4, and 1 more over to go. At the end of 19, 118 for 4. Chandimal will take strike in the last over. He's on 52. Bandara on 33.
I think Obed would be very happy with his spell. He's gotten 1 wicket and 29 runs in 4. That's not too bad. I must say that the last delivery, it was an effort ball that was also let out from his hands very slowly. And it tricked the batsman, so he went for a mighty heave, expecting that one to come a lot faster. And it just slowed up on him. And the West Indies must have been very pleased with this young man.
Indeed, a change of the bat there for Chandimal. He'll be taking strike. Let's see whether or not he'll be able to, if that a change in bat will bring him a change in fortune in being able to get Dwayne Bravo off the square. Dwayne Bravo to bowl the last over. He's none for 18 from his 3 so far. Here he comes, and this one just waiting an almighty length of time on it. This one just playing it down, just scooping it down to Chris Gale at short fine leg. Chris Gale, as he returns that one, is clapping away, just applauding the effort of Dwayne Bravo. That one was a slow full toss. He had to wait on it. Premeditated shot. He was down on his haunches waiting to just scoop it, and then realized that it wasn't coming. He was waiting, it wasn't coming, and eventually managed to get some bat and knock that down to Chris Gale at short fine leg.
Yes, that was tossed up like an off spinner. And Bravo really mixing it up. You can see the bright smile on his face. He can see the confusion he's causing, and delivering quite well here for the West Indies.
So here comes a little bit Bandara comes back on strike. He's on 33. Here comes Dwayne Bravo over the wicket to bowl to Bandara, and this one is struck brilliantly for 6. That was he was waiting on that one, just pull the trigger on that one. 6 runs in a straight long on position. What a shot by Bandara, moving on to 39. 6 well-needed welcome runs for the Sri Lankans.
Well, as soon as he pitched it, the batsman saw it coming regularly, and he went through the ball and struck it straight over the side screen. Beautiful shot. Bravo, knowing that he had to change a little bit, he's been bowling the slower one, expecting the batsman to be waiting for it. Came through this one a little quicker, and the batsman just smacking it straight back over his head. 6 runs. Bandara trying to build a score here for his team. They know that 131 is not enough. They lost at 131. They know they need to be somewhere in the range of between 140, 150 to cause some trouble for the West Indies. Of course, one can say they bowled out the West Indies team for 117. So this could also be a fighting total.
What will be Dwayne Bravo's response? He's up to the wicket now and bowls, and this one is trout back over his head. It will run very close to the boundary, into the boundary now. 4 runs. Bandara is unleashing here in the last over. Just welcome. I mean, it couldn't have come at a better time for his side. 129 for 4 now. 129 for 4. Slower delivery. This one is rolling his fingers over that one, but Bandara was waiting on it. He was positioned for it, just slapping that over the bowler's head. Almost a flat batted swat shot over the bowler's head for 4. 129 for 4. Bandara, a bit of a blitzkrieg. 1, 6, and 4. 3 balls left. He's on 43. Facing up now to Dwayne Bravo again. Over the wicket to ball, and this time he swings and misses. They were looking for possibly to run a by, but Nicholas Puran was alert to that danger and just making sure that the bowler was also alert to it. So a dot ball, welcome dot ball. This time there's no looking to, he didn't roll his fingers over that one. A regulation medium pace delivery, and swinging and missing was Bandara, who is upset with himself. He's apoplectic with himself. He punches his helmet to say, why didn't I play that better?
He missed that one. Kyron Pollard coming to have a discussion with Bravo. They're going to think about making some changes here. He doesn't want to have the score get too high. He's got 2 deliveries left, and he'd be happy to see no more boundaries. Can Bravo continue to baffle these batsmen? Bandara has gotten him in the last 3 deliveries. Let's see what happens to the last 2.
Dwayne Bravo is up again to bowl, and this one is struck, very, very powerfully down the onside of the pitch. 1 run to the score as Captain Kyron Pollard comes off the long on boundary to field. 1 more to Bandara. He's on 44. 1 ball left in the innings. 1 legal delivery left. They're 130 for 4. 130 for 4. Reminding you, they got 131 in the first T20. They lost that. They got 160 in the second T20. They won that. Now they're 130 for 4. Chandimal on 53 to take the last legal delivery. There is a long on in the Captain Kyron Pollard, long off. There is a deep point, or deep backward point, and there is a deep backward squirrel again, a deep mid wicket. Here comes Bravo, and this one is falling over his Chandimal as he plays that one down to the deep mid wicket fielder. 1 run to the score, and 131 for 4 is where they end their 20 overs. 131 for 4. Chandimal ending with 54. Bandara ending with 44. That's the latest score. 6.5 they scored for their 20 overs. 131 for 4. Bravo ending on none for 31 from his 4 overs. Certainly, his last over was the most expensive. 13 runs coming off his last over as Bandara took a liking to him in the last to go with blitzkrieg. 131 for 4. The West Indies will need 132 to win this match and to win the CG Insurance T20 International Series here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds. All is on the line in this match. The series tied intriguingly at 1 apiece. Gale has not crossed 50 in T20 internationals in 5 years. The last time he did that was March 2016. That innings was 100 not out of 48 balls against England in that T20 World Cup. Sri Lanka have not won a T20 international series since October 2019. They won that one 3-0 in Pakistan. The West Indies won their last T20 international series against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka around this time last year. Before, of course, COVID-19 upended all our lives, not only in sports but across society. 131 for 4, Sri Lanka ending. I'll give you a quick wrap-up in a short while, a quick summary in a short while of how things went. But Darwin, let me hear your voice.
Well, certainly this is a total that the West Indies would be happy to have bowled out the 20 overs for. Interestingly enough, we saw the Sri Lankans not giving their wickets away. And that's something that still has to resonate here. They were not bowled out in the 20 overs. They batted well. They took a lot of singles. They were frustrated by some very good bowling from Allen, from Sinclair. We saw great bowling from Jason Holder. Dwayne Bravo sort of confused them up until this last over when a few were struck by Bandana. But even at 31, Dwayne Bravo still doing very well with 4 overs for 31 runs. I think overall Pollard must be happy. He bowled himself 2 overs for 11 runs. That was very useful. He came on at a good time. And I think overall the West Indies would be happy. They've won when Sri Lanka scored 131. They should be pleased that they are back here now at 131. It is, however, 131 on the board. It can't be said we got that amount the last time, and so this is a total we can get to, because the last match they could not get to 131. They were bowled out, mind you, for 117. So a lot at stake here. They have to come out, be positive. They're going to be challenged by good spin bowling. They have to use their feet. They have to turn the strike around. Forget about 6s, forget about 4s. Get the 1s and 2s. Build innings. If they do that, they have a chance. If they come out here trying to create short, quick cameos and 6s and 4s, it could be a very long evening.
Absolutely could. Let's remind you what happened. The Sri Lankans won the toss and chose to bat, as has been the case in this entire CG Insurance T20 International Series. They batted first. They didn't quite get the kind of momentum in the start that they would have wanted. Certainly not the kind of aggression and the kind of rotation of the strike that happened in the second T20 International. Danushka Gunathalika was the first to go. He was caught and bowled by Allen for 9, facing 9 deliveries with 1-4. It was 10 for 1 when he went. Then it was 15 for 2 when Nirashan Dikwala went. Nirashan Dikwala caught Holder, bowled Sinclair for 4, facing 6 deliveries. Then it became 27 for 3 when Pathum Nisanka went. He was caught by Holder. He was caught by Sinclair of the bowling of Holder for 5, facing 13 deliveries. And then it was also a 4th wicket going down, 46 for 4, when Captain Angela Matthews went caught behind of the bowling of Obed Mccoy. He hit 11, facing 11 deliveries, 1-4 in that. And then Dinesh Chandimal and Ashan Bandara came together, and both of them really rotated the strike very well indeed. They stuck to their guns, they stuck to the task admirably, they put pressure on the fielders, and in the end, it was a fantastic partnership to take them from 46 for 4 to what they ended at, 131 for 4, with 4 extras in that innings. 54 from Dinesh Chandimal, another half century for him. The right-handed batsman, 46 deliveries faced, 3 fours in that. Ashan Bandara, 44 in 35 deliveries, 3 fours and 2 sixes. Bowling for the West Indies, Fabian Allen was absolutely impressive. 4 overs, no maidens, 13 runs, 1 wicket. He was the one who started to really put a stranglehold, a chokehold on the Sri Lankan side. Kevin Sinclair, 2 overs, no maidens, 19 runs, 1 wicket. He wasn't as penetrative and as effective as he would have wanted to be. Jason Holder, 4 overs, no maidens, 27 runs, 1 wicket. Kieran Pollard bowled 2 overs for 11 runs in that, no maidens. Obed McCoy, 4 overs, no maidens, 29 runs, 1 wicket. And Dwayne Bravo, again with his mixture, it is admixture and hybridized bowling of short rolling his fingers over it, slower deliveries, mixing up length and line. He was absolutely impressive, bamboozled the batsman to a large extent. 4 overs, no maidens, 31 runs, no wickets. So the wickets shared by Fabian Allen with 1, Kevin Sinclair with 1, Jason Holder with 1, and Obed McCoy with 1. In another few minutes, we'll be back, of course, for the start of the second half of this match. The West Indies will need 132 for victory. 132 the West Indies need to win this match and to win the series 2-1. All on the line here as the series is intriguingly tied at 1 apiece. We'll, of course, be back to give you the second half of this match in a short while.
This is Middle Stump on Vibes Radio, the champion station.
Regents Hotel welcomes you for an unforgettable stay in Dominica. Come taste the traditional dishes of Dominica in our gourmet restaurant. Enjoy a tour of the island, take a dip in the hot springs, a scenic horseback ride, or water sports for the adventurous. Make your reservations today. Call 767-275-3539 or 767-615-6221 or email info@regents.com.
At only 45 minutes from the capital, Regents Hotel welcomes you to Portsmouth with 20 suites to make for an unforgettable stay in Dominica. Whether you're with friends or family, everything is done to make you feel like you're at home. Come taste the traditional dishes of Dominica in our gourmet restaurant. Enjoy a tour of the island and take a dip in the hot springs. Take an idyllic horseback ride or water sports for the adventurous. Visit Dominica and stay at the Regents Hotel. Make your reservations today, 767-275-3539 or 767-615-6221 or email info@regents.com.
Middle Stump, a production of Vibes Radio, the champion station, is pleased to be associated with the following stations: GBN Radio in Grenada, Real FM Grenada, Class FM in Jamaica, News Talk Radio Guyana, U97.5 in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean Broadcasting Network in the British Virgin Islands, ABS Radio in Antigua, and CBC Radio in Barbados. Join us as we bring you top-class cricket commentaries on Middle Stump. This is Middle Stump on Vibes Radio, the champion station.
A warm welcome back to the Coolidge Cricket Grounds. Of course, this is the break. The first half of the contest completed. 130 for 4, 131 for 4, 131 for 4. The score mustered by the Sri Lankans. Perhaps short of what they would have wanted, but it is what it is. They've gotten that in the 20 overs. They'll be looking to put a lot of pressure on the West Indies with their spin attack. Of course, they would have strengthened their spin attack for the second match, continued that with an unchanged team for this, the third match, and they'll be looking to use their spin because they've thought that is an Achilles heel for the West Indies, Darwin, and they'll be looking to use spin again to bamboozle and to discombobulate the batsmen. Let's remind you of the two teams for the Sri Lankans. Angela Matthews, the captain, Danushka Gunathalika, Pathum Nisanka, Nirashandi Kwala, the wicketkeeper, Dinesh Chandamal, Ashan Bandara, Thisira Pereira, Wanindu Hasaranga, Akila Dhananjaya, Dushmantha Chimera, and Lakshan Sandakan. For the West Indies, one change in their side. Out is Fiddle Edwards, in is Robman Powell. So it's Lendl Simmons, Evan Lewis, Christopher Gale, wicketkeeper Nicholas Puran, captain Karen Pollard, Jason Holder, Robman Powell, Fabian Allen, Dwayne Bravo, Kevin Sinclair, and Obed McCoy. We should also say, before we continue, of course, we're getting ready for the start of the second half of this match. A very happy birthday to the great man indeed, Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards. So Vivian Richards celebrating his 69th birthday today, born on the 7th of March, 1952. We say very happy birthday to him. He cut his cake today, certainly not perhaps able to celebrate as usual because of COVID-19 restrictions, but he was able to have a good time. Happy birthday, Sir Vivian Richards.
Well, and certainly one can only imagine how much joy that person born in this day 69 years ago brought to the world, brought to the Caribbean, brought to all of us West Indian fans. Growing up as a young boy, that's the only person you idolized. There was no Manchester United, there was no Liverpool, there was nothing. There was Ivy Richards, and he's going out to bat, Dennis Lilly, Thompson, and all the guys. It was all about Viv. We idolized him, and today he celebrates his 69th birthday. Still representing the best of West Indies, and we must all be very, very joyful that his parents birthed him, raised him, and he was able to give us so much joy, so much passion, and lots of respect to the big man. But going back to the game here, Garfield, we are certainly not out of the woods here. There are times when you see a total on the board and you get overconfident.
By the way, you're speaking from the perspective of a West Indian supporter.
I'm speaking in cricket.
Yes,
in general.
okay, all right.
You see a total on the board and you get overconfident. You see it, but then you start trying to achieve it. And without proper application, without a strategy, without having a roadmap to get there, you can lose your way. The West Indies have to take this 131 runs rather seriously. The West Indies team was bowled out for 117 2 nights ago on this very field against this spin attack. Garfield, West Indies scored 117 runs. 68 of those runs were scored of Pereira and Chimera. The spinners bowled 12.8.4 overs, and the West Indies could only muster 49 runs.
From the spinners?
From the spinners. That says that they're not picking them well, they're not able to hit them off the ground, and they're going up against that exact same bowling attack tonight. It requires commitment, it requires a stronger sense of purpose, it requires pushing the ball around, getting the singles, not demonstrating too much of a bravado style. You may want to talk about all of the big hitters that we have out there. They have to play good cricket, play sensible cricket, push the balls around, get the ones and twos. If they're able to do that and fight that way tonight, they can take this home. The last evening, there were a bit too many shots.
Let me hear your perspective now from a Sri Lanka. If you were the Sri Lanka coach, if you were the Sri Lanka captain, Angela Matthews, what would you be telling your side now, by the way, as they're in a huddle now talking about their strategizing and their machinations and their wiles to take on the West Indies in this, to really defend 131, a very paltry score by most means, certainly by the standards of T20 internationals now, but defendable. As you said, they bowled out the West Indies for 117 to win the second match. What would you be telling your side at this point?
Well, we would basically, if you're standing in that huddle right now, you're saying to the guys, we did it the other evening, let's go do it again. Pretty much the same thing. Same game plan, get the spinners on, get them to pitch the ball in the right areas. The one thing I'd be saying to my bowlers here would be, if you keep it tight, they're going to make mistakes. If you stop them from scoring boundaries, they're going to have to try. They're going to be under pressure. They're going to make mistakes. So what the West Indies batsmen have to do here is to reconsider their approach from the last game and come out here with a new sense of purpose, a different style, where they're not going to give it away by any means. If it's there to be hit, you should smack it. But the key element here is to not face so many dot balls turn the strike over, don't allow the spinner to bowl too many deliveries to one player, get the singles and the ones and twos. If they do that, it could be a different outcome. And we could see quite a tussle here as the spin bowlers fight to get through our West Indies batting that might be a little bit more resilient and determined this evening. So it's not going to be as easy as two nights ago for the spinners, but it could easily turn sour if the batters don't pay attention and do what they're supposed to do.
Indeed. And by the way, the Sri Lankans are back out on the pitch. The umpires are back out. We're expecting the openers for the West Indies in any second now. Let's remind you of what happened for the second T20 International on just Friday, just 2 nights ago, what happened. So in terms of the bowling, you mentioned, Darwin, the fact that the spinners were able to not only put a chokehold on the West Indies, but also to take wickets. And they accounted for 8 of the West Indies' 10 wickets. Akila Dhananjaya, 4 overs, no maidens, 13 runs, 1 wicket, as well as Windies Hasaranga, 4 overs, no maidens, 17 runs, 3 wickets. Lakshan Sandakan, 3.4 overs, no maidens, 10 runs, 3 wickets. And Danushka Gunathalika, 1 over, 4, 8 runs with 1 wicket as well. So between was Hasaranga, Sandakan, Gunathalika and Dhananjaya, they got 8 wickets between them, and they were able, for 49 runs, and they were able to put a stranglehold on the batsman. By the way, the 2 opening batsmen, Evan Lewis and Lendl Simmons, coming to the crease. Possibly there had been talk about possibly a change in the order. Christopher Gale would have come, possibly it was being said, Darwin and Vernon, that the West Indies might have changed the order. I think.
Who said that?
I think that was raised as a possibility. I see why it was raised, but I think obviously chasing 131, I think that the West Indies.
Why would anyone change that?
Yes, indeed. But that was mentioned earlier. But either way, it's Lendl Simmons and Evan Lewis who are taking to the crease. Lendl Simmons, right-hander, and of course Evan Lewis, the left-hander. Both will of course be looking to give the West Indies a good foundation for a modest total. A modest total by any means. They won with the same score, chasing the same score for the first match, and they won it by 4 wickets with 41 balls to spare. That was for match number 1 last Wednesday. Of course, last Friday it was a situation where they were unable to chase 160. They were bowled out for 117. So the first ball now coming up. Here comes Dhananjaya. He's up to the wicket, bowling to the right-handed Lendl Simmons, who just plays this one very easily, very elegantly down to the onside, getting 1 run. So Lendl Simmons is off the mark. 1 ball and 1 run so far. Dhananjaya is opening the bowling from this the southern end. Akila Dhananjaya, of course, would have seen the contrasting emotions in the first match, a hat-trick in 1 over, and then taking for 6 sixes consecutive balls in the second over, in his next over. So Dhananjaya would know about the contrasts, about highs and lows, peaks and troughs, and about contrasting emotions. Well, let's see what will happen in this match. Will there be a sort of twist in the tail in this match? Possibly more intrigue, more excitement, more possibly even more drama to come. Here comes Dhananjaya. Around the wicket to bowl to the left-handed Evan Lewis, who punches this one square through the offside. That will run away for 4. So his first ball getting a boundary, Evan Lewis. That one was just rocking back and punching it through point for 4, through backward point. 4 runs, 5 without loss. Evan Lewis moving on to 4.
Excellent cricket shot here. Lewis just waited for that one, got on top of it, played it quite nicely. The ball was asking for it. It's a hard ball. It stood up, and he played it beautifully for. Well played.
Absolutely. So what will Dhananjaya's response be? So he's considered 5 from 2 balls so far. He's up to the wicket and bowls, and this one a better delivery, and this one having to be circumspect was Evan Lewis, playing it into the offside, can't score. Evan Lewis remains on 4, Simmons on 1. We're in over number 1, 3 balls gone already. Akila Dhananjaya bowling the first over from the southern end. There's been spin when the West Indies bowl. They had spin from both ends to start. Here comes Dhananjaya. He's up to the wicket again. This one is a flighted delivery, driven into the covers, can't score. The score remains on 5 without loss, 5 without loss, and fielding there in the covers was Windies Hasaranga. Hasaranga promises to be quite an impact player in this later. He didn't bat because it is 131 for 4, so he wasn't needed with a bat, but he will definitely be needed with a ball. And this one is swung into the leg side and just away from the fielder who was coming across, running around from that wide long on position, just rocking back and hitting it for 6 runs was Evan Lewis, but it wasn't too far from the fielder who was running around from that long on position. Too short again from and Evan Lewis says that shot is his bread and butter. Actually, the fielder there was actually a despairing dive. He wasn't able to get that one at all. It was some distance away from him. 6 runs, so already 11 runs conceded in this over. 1 ball left in the first. Here comes Dananjai. He's up to again to bowl to Evan Lewis, and Evan Lewis is taken on the pad. Loud appeal. Not out, says the umpire. The umpire is unmoved. Will they go upstairs for it? They have 2 reviews. They're discussing, consulting, ruminating on it, cogitating.
They've decided not to.
No, indeed, they won't. So that's the end of over number 1. 1 over gone, 11 runs conceded. Lewis on 10, a 4 and a 6 conceded. Well, he hit a 4 and a 6. Simmons got a single. Simmons will take striking over number 2 after 1, 11 without loss.
Yes, and he dispatched those 2 short deliveries quite well, as any opening batsman should. You get the ball that is short enough to be smacked, you should smack it. Lewis is no easy player. He's not going to look at it and leave it. Lewis, he likes to hit. His strike rate is 157, so he's right up there. He scores very, very, very freely, very quickly. What he has to do is pick the balls well and hit those that needs to be hit, and at the same time, turn the strike around.
Indeed, he does. We're looking back at the replay there of that one was just pulled into the leg side by Evan Lewis, the last ball of the last over, or the first over certainly. So it's going to be Dushmantha Chimera who will be bowling the second over. 29-year-old Chimera. He's been impressive. Right arm fast medium. He's coming in from the northern end to bowl to the right-handed Lendl Simmons. He's up and bowls, and this one is just tickled fine for 4 down to fine leg. So Evan Lewis, battley line delivery, getting that, actually a 4 leg buys. That one's looking to just tickle it fine, came off the pads and leg buy signals. So 4 leg buys down to fine leg. That one badly lined by Chimera.
Yeah, certainly not pitching where he wants to. When you bowl offline, you're going to create opportunities for the batsman here, and then Lendl Simmons missing it with the bat, taking the pad, 4 runs. The Sri Lankans not having enough of a total to make mistakes here, and they've started off making a few too many.
So the 2 fielders out. There is a 3rd man on the boundary, and there is I'll tell you about the other fielder. This one is just driven down in the V down to mid-off. No score. They can't score. The score remains on 15 without loss. So there's a 3rd man on the boundary, and there is a deep square leg. So 3rd man and a deep square leg. It's 15 without loss. Lewis is on 10 at the non-striker's end. Simmons on 1. 4 extras in those leg buys. That one was coming off the pad for the first delivery of over number 2. That's going fine, beating the wicketkeeper Nira Shandikwala and going down fine, almost in a long leg position for 4. Here comes Chimera. He's up to the wicket to bowl to Lendl Simmons, and this one is driven into the offside, fielding there by Angela Matthews, the captain, taking a shy at the stumps, missing. The batsmen were in already though, so the 2nd run for Simmons. He moves up to 2, 16 without loss. Lewis on 10 comes back on strike. Lewis on 10 from 5 and looking in a no-nonsense mood.
He always does. And Lewis likes to play his shots. And Simmons on that delivery played it straight to mid-off, but actually ran for that single. So you can see a different sense of purpose here from the West Indies batsmen. They know, I'm sure their coach have given them a good talking to. You got to run, you got to pick up the singles. And if you keep turning the strike over, whether you're scoring boundaries or not, you're putting pressure on the team. So dot balls builds pressure on your batting side. Taking those away helps you. So if they keep getting the singles, it should help them apply even more pressure, even with such a low total. I mean, there is no pressure to race to any big start here.
All right, so the 2 fielders out in this, of course, the power play one for Evan Lewis facing up to Chimera, who will be coming around the wicket. There's a deep backward square leg, and there's a deep backward point. Here comes Chimera, and this one is in the air. It will just drop short of that deep backward point. 1 run for Evan Lewis, but you get the feeling that with Evan Lewis, it's either 6s or wickets, because he's certainly going to go after the bowling. And once the ball is pitched up, that one is a foolish delivery, and he went for it. The ball is squeezing off the thick outside edge of the bat and going down to that wide 3rd man deep backward point position, just dropping well short of the field. The 1 more run that he moves on to 11. The score 17 without loss. And
like I said, if your strike rate is 150 and higher, that means you are a striker. And he certainly is going after the ball if it's within the slot and in the zone that he likes. That one was.
Chimera over the wicket to bowl to the right-handed Lendl Simmons, and this one is just opening the face. It will run in close to the boundary. Very good fielding there on the boundary. 2 runs. Very good work by Akila Dhananjaya, who was just running around from a third man. The ball was played very, very fine, and he ran around to his left and was able to save 2 runs. Very good work by Akila Dhananjaya.
And lovely shot from Simmons. It was deliberately played there. He saw where the third man was. He played with a very soft bat and just guided it just a little bit outside of stump and almost got 4 runs.
Indeed, Akila Dhananjaya saving 2. Here comes another delivery. This is just played into the onside, just turned down to that mid-wicket position. 1 more run to Simmons, so he's doing it. That's the end of over number 2. He's doing it in singles, just turning around the strike, playing sensible cricket. Simmons on 5, Lewis on 11. The end of over number 2, 20 without loss. 20 without loss. They're chasing 132 for victory and started very, very well indeed.
Well, and if you are part of any team after a major loss, which it was, they lost by some 43 runs, you're going to come back with a different sense of purpose here. You're going to want to show that you can actually do different, do better. And so far from the batting that we're seeing, particularly from Simmons, he is looking a little bit more circumspect. He's playing more cautiously, more carefully, whereas Lewis seems ready to keep going.
Akila Dhananjaya, who would have conceded 11 runs from his first over, will be looking to peg things back in his second. He starts again to bowl to Lendl Simmons, who just goes into his crease and using the depth of his crease, turning this into the leg side. 1 run down to Hasaranga, Windies Hasaranga coming from deep in the leg side. 1 more run to Simmons. He moves up to 6, brings Evan Lewis on 11 back on strike. 21 without loss in over number 3. The start of over number 3, 21 without loss. They're chasing 132 for victory. Evan Lewis looking absolutely pugnacious. He's started very, very strongly. A 6 and a 4 already for Evan Lewis. Simmons playing, as you said, Darwin, a little bit more circumspectly. So here comes Akila Dhananjaya. He's around the wicket now to the left-handed Evan Lewis, and that one just squared him up a bit, taking the thicker outside edge of the bat and just going down to the short third-man position, almost a fly-slip position. No run. Lewis remains on 11, 21 without loss.
That should have been a single if Simmons was backing up well, and that's some of the things they have to pick up on here. But I think that the instructions from the dressing room is that Simmons probably hold back a bit.
Here comes, and there's a slip in place now as that one seems to have just bounced up a little higher on him. He seems to have been surprised by the bounce there, Evan Lewis. Getting some bounce is Akila Dhananjaya. That one just playing it into the offside. His reaction certainly suggested that he wasn't expecting the ball to bounce that much. 21 without loss. He remains on 11. Facing up again to Dhananjaya, who's up and bowls, and this one just advancing and stroking it very nicely into the covers. Can't score. Doing the fielding is Hasaranga. Hasaranga possibly has an opportunity. A lot of people have a lot of hope in him that he possibly could be the next Muralitharan, you know. Here comes Dhananjaya, starting again. He's up to the wicket and bowls to the left-hander. He sweeps, premeditated sweep shot. He gets it down to that fine leg position. It will run into the boundary now. 4 runs. So 4 runs for, let's see if the signal will be run. So getting the bat on that one. 4 runs to Evan Lewis. He moves up to 15, 25 without loss. A delivery that was lined on leg stump or just outside, getting 4 and is tickling it down fine behind fine leg.
Well, that looked like it was more on the middle stump, and he played across well, but got a bat to it. And the bowler really thought he had a chance there, had it missed the bat, but Lewis getting 4 runs. Big effort there by the fielder, but he wasn't able to stop 4.
Here comes this one is turned into the leg side by the left-handed Evan Lewis. 1 run down to that deep in the onside. Bandara, it seems, coming off the deep on that deep mid-wicket boundary. 1 more run to the score. That's the end of over number 3, 26 without loss. Evan Lewis moving on to 16, Simmons on 6. They're chasing 132 for victory. They're scoring at 8.6 and over. They just need to score at 6.24. 3 overs gone, 26 without loss.
And certainly what we have probably seen here, like I said earlier, was Simmons looked like he's been told to bat through. If Lewis is going, let Lewis keep going. What we would have seen in other games is that they both would be going. And so some discussions must have been had as Simmons looked a whole lot more subdued, as Lewis seems prepared to go after it. And that's probably a good strategy here. Instead of having both batsmen going great guns, you have one going after it, the other one just supporting him, turning the strike over, and hoping that one can actually push the scoring rate to a level where they can move forward.
Chimera starts an over, 106 needed from, and this one is struck into the covers. Elegant drive into the covers. Bandara doing the fielding. There is no run. Had he gone a foot left or right of Bandara, he would have gotten 4 there. Yawning space on the offside. He was looking to pierce the cover field. 106 needed from 101 deliveries. 106 needed from 101 deliveries. Evan Lewis looking to be on the go. He's facing up to Chimera, who is bowling from around the wicket, and he's certainly been very effective in this series so far, Chimera.
And Lewis hitting the ball really well. You love to see the ball flying off the bat like that.
Chimera starts again around the wicket and bowls, and this one is in the air. That will go all the way for 4. Hit over mid-off. Mid-off was up, and that one in the slot. Lewis didn't need any invitation, didn't need a second incentive to go after it. Went after it. 4 runs, uppish off drive for 4.
And certainly playing it the way he wanted to. He was going to hit it up. He did. It was way above the fielder. No chance of any problems there. And he struck it really hard. And the ball went one bounce into the scoreboard, into the boundary. 4 runs for Lewis. And he's looking dangerous here this evening.
He's taking no prisoners, Evan Lewis. He's moving on to 20 now. 30 without loss. Facing up again, short delivery, ducks under this one. And the umpire has no signal on that one. Of course, it has, for it to be a wide in terms of a bounce, it has to be where the batsman, when he's standing in his popping crease, can't reach the ball ordinarily with a bat. But that one didn't bounce as much. Lewis is ducking onto that one. 30 without loss. Lewis is on 20 and looking absolutely ominous. He's looking as if he's taking no prisoners.
Well, I thought he was going to stand up and throw that one over the mid-wicket boundary. He didn't. He ducked into it. Almost rolled over his back there. Didn't come up at all.
Wide third man and a deep backward square leg on the boundary. Here comes this one. Is looking for that shot. They'll get a quick single. He was looking to just heave that one into the onside. The ball just coming off a small inside edge on the bat, and that's trickling into the offside, just backward square on the offside. They scamper through for 1 run, so he moves up now to 21. The score 31 without loss.
Seems to be hurt, Lewis is. Seemed to have gotten the ball into his
it
knee
seems like,
or something.
yes, or just inside where there was no protection with the pad.
He's in a bit of a pain, some pain there.
So I'm pretty sure that we'll see the physio coming on. In fact, the physio is now coming on to have a look at Evan Lewis. We're having a look at Christopher Gale, the universe boss, padded up to come at number 3. So some assistance will be given to Evan Lewis. He's signaling to the dressing room that he needs some sort of assistance, and they're calling on the physio as well as more assistance from the dressing room. So he's taken off one of his pads. He's taken off the pad on, in fact, it does appear to be both of them actually. Well, actually, this one. He's taking off the second one now. He's taking off the pad from his left leg and taking off the one from his right leg now. They'll be giving some assistance, but that one, he seems to have hurt himself when he was looking to pull it onto the onside. The ball is coming off a part of the bat and cannoning into his leg, obviously the part that was not protected by the pad, and getting some a bit of pain there that he's feeling. Possibly the magic spray will come into play here. 3.4 overs gone, 31 without loss. Lewis is on 21. Simmons will be taking strike. He's on 6, but while some assistance is being given to Evan Lewis.
Well, I think what is happening here is we are probably seeing a change of pads. Lewis getting a new set of pads, but there's some stickers on there that he's not allowed to show. He's probably had some damage done there to his pad. It ripped off the top Velcro piece there. Yes, it bursted out.
Yes,
and so he needs a new pad, but he has to cover up the names on that pad if he's not allowed to brand that name. He could have a bit of a problem. And so they've done that. They've covered up that little portion over his instep. And he can now go out and start doing his thing. But this young man he's strongly built. He likes to hit. And you like to see him hit. If he's in, he's going to either be in hitting for a short while or and getting quite a bit of runs. And in this version of the game, at his age, the way he's developing, he could become one of the top T20 player, top one-day player as well. Obviously, he's a wide ball player and seems to be on track to become something really special because he does hit the ball clean, hit it hard, and he likes to hit every time. You know, if he gets a little bit more control into his game, he could be a very, very disastrous player here.
He's already proven to be quite that, both on the regional level, and we saw that in the CG Insurance Super 50, which just ended here in Antigua a few short weeks ago. And of course, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force with Evan Lewis and Lendl Simmons, the two opening batsmen for the West Indies, being among the top 5 run getters in that one. So Evan Lewis is back and fine. He's at the non-strikers and looking on now as this one is struck high into the air. It will go all the way for 4, 1 bounce into the boundary, 4 runs. That one this time by Lendl Simmons, just getting onto that one from Chimera. Chimera not proving to be as penetrative in this match as he was in previous matches. He's conceded 14 runs so far from his 1.5 overs. That one too short, and Lendl Simmons was really going for it, just moving his left leg out of the way and swinging through it, clean hit, pretty much over the bowler's head for 4.
And Simmons is one who uses the crease very well. Stepped back, got right inside his crease and picked the ball. Not a very short delivery, but hit it on the up over the bowler's head for 4.
Chimera, what will be his response? He starts again. The last ball of over number 4, and this one is just guided down to third man. Dhananjaya comes around to do the fielding. 1 more to the score. The end of over number 4, 36 without loss, 36 without loss. Both opening batsmen are looking good and looking to score. Simmons on 11, Lewis on 21. 21 of 15, Simmons on 11 from 9. They need 132 for victory.
And they're doing very well. These two batters, they have been batting together for many, many years, both for the Red Force and in some instances for the West Indies as well. But they know each other well. They know each other's game, and I'm sure they feed off each other. Simmons in that over going after Chimera in a style that you've seen Lewis did in the previous over. And I'm sure that the Sri Lankans are hoping that somehow they can dislodge one of these two players. If these two batsmen can stay in here long enough, this would be a very short night. But things can change, as we saw in the previous game, and the Sri Lankans are aiming to try to do that here.
Indeed, as you talk about change, a change in the bowling from this southern end. So off comes Akila Dhananjaya, and on comes the impact player, Wanindu Hasaranga. The man who's really bamboozled the West Indies batsmen in this series. He's coming off the momentum from the Lanka Premier League when he took his 17 wickets at an impressive average. There's a slip in place. There's a leg spinner. Hasaranga comes in. This one is flighted and hit high and will be caught. Oh, he's dropped it. Dropping the catch there was Danushka Gunathalika. Can you believe it? It could have been instant success for Hasaranga. It was a full toss, and going for the shot there was Lendl Simmons, hitting it straight down to long on. The fielder didn't have to move, came straight in his hand, and Gunathalika grasped it, much to the dismay and chagrin of his teammates.
Well, certainly that was a sitter. He didn't have to move too much. It was struck. Simmons could have got a single on the ground all the same, but he tried, didn't hit it well enough, and lives to fight another day.
Hasaranga could have gotten immediate success. As it is, he'll have to regroup and come again. He'll be bowling now to the left-handed Evan Lewis. There's a slip in place for him. Here comes Hasaranga. Up to the wicket and bowls, and this one is played back along the pitch, the onside of the pitch, fielded by Hasaranga. There is no run. It'll be interesting to see the approach of these two batsmen to Hasaranga. We saw what happened with the first ball. Lendl Simmons went for the shot, wasn't on, didn't quite get a hold on it, and was dropped at long on. Here comes Hasaranga. He's up and bowls and going for the sweep shot there. And is he gone? He was looking, no, he's in his crease. But there was a loud appeal as he was taken on the pad. Seems to have gone for a premeditated sweep shot and didn't make contact with the bat. The ball coming off his pad, and they were trying to get a leg by. And by the way, have they reviewed? Yes, they are reviewing. So the Sri Lankans are using one of their reviews. Let's see whether or not what will come of this. They're appealing for leg before wicket. So let's see if this one was pitched. It'll be interesting to see where it was pitched, because possibly the umpire was thinking it might have been pitched outside the leg stump, in which case it couldn't be out. So we'll see, of course, what Hawkeye has to say on this. The front view, the first one, it seems to be pitched in line with the stumps, taken on the pad. It does look interesting at this point. Darwin, what do you think?
It looks a little bit like, let's first see, is it missing the bat?
They're looking
Misses
for the
the bat.
ultra edge, no edge on that, so he didn't play it at all with a bat. So it cannoned into the pad. He was looking for that sweep shot, almost a slug sweep, missing the bat altogether. So no inside edge on that. Now let's see if this one pitched in line or did it pitch outside.
It is in line.
It pitched outside leg. That might have been saving him. So no need to look at anything else. The review lost pitching outside leg stump and marginally outside leg, just perhaps millimeters outside leg stump, and that might have been the only
Umpire
thing.
score.
Yes, indeed. So it pitched outside leg stump.
Yes,
so
he did say not out, so it's his call.
Indeed, right. So the review lost by the Sri Lankans, but a good delivery. At the end of this over, you'll be hearing the voice of Vernon Springer to join Darwin Telemac. 4.3 overs gone, 37 without loss. Hasaranga has already proven to be problematic for the batsman. He's gotten a catch dropped off him, and he's had a loud appeal for leg before. Here he comes again to bowl to Simmons, who's taking on the pad again, and this time he's given out. So Evan Lewis goes leg before wicket to Hasaranga for 21, going for the same shot. And will they appeal this? No, they decide not to, they decide against the review. So Evan Lewis walks back to the pavilion. Out LBW for 21 of 17 deliveries. Hasaranga has proved to be the man with the golden arm for the Sri Lankans, and certainly he could have had 2 wickets possibly, all other things being equal, because he had a catch dropped off Lendl Simmons, and now getting the wicket, leg before wicket of Evan Lewis, gone for 21.
Well, certainly you have to wonder what he was thinking. There was a close call when he played that shot. The bowler came back, similar delivery, pitched a little bit more in line. He plays the same shot that almost got him out the previous delivery, and this time the umpire had an easy decision to make. His fingers went up, and Lewis must be very, very sad going back there. I think the thought process that's going through his mind must be that he should have played differently, could have played differently, but he didn't. He repeated a dangerous shot, and he's back in the pavilion.
132 is the target. There are 37 for 1 in the 5th over. 2 balls left in this over. So far, Hasaranga's over. 1, which should have been a catch. 1 dot wicket. 2 legal deliveries left in Hasaranga's over. And so far, he's already proved to be absolutely on target. This one, we're looking back at the replay, pitched in line, hitting. No way that they would have won that review of the West Indies. So Lewis goes. Evan Lewis going LBW of the bowling of Hasaranga. Went into Hasaranga for 21. Out comes Christopher Henry Gale, the universe boss, self-styled, self-proclaimed universe boss, the elder statesman. He's 41 years old, wants to win a 3rd T20 title, but he wants to build up here. By the way, the last time he's gone over 50 in a T20 international was 5 years ago in March 2016, 100 of 48 against England in the World T20 title. He faces this delivery that's turning it into the leg side, and he gets off the mark easily, Chris Gale. Full delivery, that one is a flighted delivery from Hasaranga, and Gale just turning it into the leg side using his very tall player, Christopher Gale, 45 on his shirt, brings the right-handed Lendl Simmons back into strike. 1 legal delivery left in over number 5, 38 for 1. Simmons on 12 of 10 deliveries facing up. There's a slip in place. Angel Matthews, the captain. Here comes Hasaranga. He's up to the wicket and bowls, and this one is just played just back with a point. They can't score. The end of over number 5, 38 for 1, 38 for 1. Simmons on 12, Christopher Gale on 1 to take strike in the next over. They're chasing 132 for victory. They're scoring now at 7.6. They need to score at 6.27 to gain victory. After more comments from Darwin, it'll be time for Vernon Springer.
Yes, and certainly a good over by Hasaranga. He got 2 runs in that over. He had a drop catch, which would have gotten him the wicket of Simmons. He had a very loud appeal, close call from Lewis, and then Lewis repeated it again as if not learning the lesson that sweep shot was not on. And he's gotten 1 wicket for 2 runs in 1 over. And he is at the top of the wicket-taking list here. That is Wanindu Hasaranga. He's got 7 wickets so far in these 3 games.
Dhananjaya comes back now from the CIUN. West Indies have lost the wicket of Evan Lewis, 38 for 1. Dhananjaya goes past Joel Wilson from Trinidad and Tobago. In now the ball to Gale. Gale gets a big stride out. And Darwin, just to maybe just recap a little bit on Evan Lewis getting out leg before the wicket. I just thought that he didn't watch the ball long enough in terms of playing the sweep shot. He just went more for power and really didn't get right out and get right around to be able to hit the ball. Gale waits for down the onside. And it goes past the keeper. We'll wait and see what Joel Wilson will signal. I think he'll be buys or leg buys. No, he got a look at Nick on. No, leg buys. Okay, so he took a long time to signal that one. Score goes up to 39 for 1. Gale is on 1. Dananjaya now will bowl to the right-hander Simmons. He switched from the media center end to the CIUN, Citizen by Investment Unit end. And we wait and see in terms of what's happening. 39 for 1, 39 for 1. Simmons comes in to strike. And he will have to bat all 20 overs here for the West Indies tonight. Lendl Simmons. Dananjaya comes in out to bowl to Simmons. Simmons back and clapping this down past the middle fielder. That's a big effort there. Man, it's a good, magnificent save there from the fielder. And the score remains on 39 for 2. To Sahara Pereira coming across there at mid-off. He'll maybe have to bowl a couple of overs sometime here tonight. Just find that Dananjaya has been bowling a little bit more quicker tonight, Darwin, and he's not giving himself enough time. Maybe he was just told that you can't loop them up a little bit too much tonight with the spin and turn. He's just bowling a little flatter and faster tonight. Not for 17 so far, 39 for 1. West Indies need 93 from 87 balls. And just to let you know that the CG Insurance One-Day International Games coming up on Wednesday, Friday and Sunday at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Dananjaya into bowl to Simmons. Simmons is driving beautifully past wherever, down to the mid-off boundary for 4. And once he didn't get there, it's going to be a boundary to Lendl Simmons, who goes to 16. The score goes to 43 for 1. Win to over number 6.
Yes, and he clobbered that. It was really, really smacked really hard. And Matthews wasn't too far from Matthews this time again. He stopped the previous one, but this time he had no chance. It flew past him. Simmons cracked that for 4. Hard hitting shot there.
They need 89 from 86 balls. 89 singles from 86 balls. Dananjaya in out the bowl to Simmons. Simmons is back and hoisting that. It's going. It's gone all the way for 6. So he decided to get on an under edge, and he maybe didn't catch it as well as you'd like, Darwin. Maybe just came from the bottom edge of the bat as he looks at his bat.
Well, he certainly didn't seem to have picked it up as much as he wanted to. It was a short delivery. He hit it on the up, not that short, just hit it on the up, picked it up, and played it over. I think Simmons seems to have gotten into a mood now that Lewis is gone. I think he's playing a whole lot more shots lately.
Dananjaya in out the bowl to Simmons is back and cracks that pass cover for 4. That's a lovely cricket shot. Waited on that. 50 up for the West Indies. 53 for 1 at the end of over number 6. 79 from 84 balls. Simmons with that splendid shot goes to 26, and Chris Gale, the universe boss, is on 1.
And Lendl Simmons loved that shot. He plays that shot all the time. High bat lift, leans back inside of his crease. He goes deep into his crease, close to the stumps, leans into it and punched it through cover in a Lendl Simmons style. Lots of bottom hand in that shot along the ground. 4 runs. He's smothered that delivery as if he's trying to say to the Sri Lankan spinners, not tonight. I'm going to crush you all the way through the fence. And that boundary sort of typified the intent here from Lendl Simmons to put some pressure on the Sri Lankan spin bowlers.
Sri Lanka at this stage, they were 27 for 3. Hasaranga will come back into the attack. We'll just give you the West Indies one-day squad for the CG Insurance ODI series, West Indies versus Sri Lanka, that will move from Coolidge to Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Hasaranga hit the ball to Gale. He comes quietly forward, just plays it on the onside. Kyron Pollard, captain. Shai Hope, Fabian Allen, Darren Bravo, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Evan Lewis, Kyle Mills, Jason Mohammed. Hasaranga comes in out the bowl to Gale. Gale driving down to long off, gets an easy single. And so he goes up to 2, and the score gradually just quickly goes up very much to 54 for 1, 54 for 1. So we go back over the West Indies team. Kyron Pollard, Shai Hope, Fabian Allen, Darren Bravo, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Evan Lewis, Kyle Mills, Jason Mohammed, Nicholas Puran, Romaro Shepherd, and Kevin Sinclair. That's the West Indies one-day squad starting Wednesday at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Lewis, nice flighted delivery from Hasaranga, and Lendl Simmons using his feet and coming down, bat and pad close together. Got a good stride out there, so that was very important. Win to over number 7. Hasaranga picking up the wicket of Evan Lewis, LBW. Simmons is 26, waits for Hasaranga in the bowl to him, and again he gets a stride out, plays it right to the cover fielder, can't score, and the score remains on 54 for 1. Impressive bowling by the West Indies bowling attack. We'll give you the figures in terms of how they went through. 78 from 80 balls. That's what the West Indies need. Hasaranga comes in now to bowl to Simmons. Simmons is bowled.
Stump.
Oh, no need for that, Darwin. He just decided he lost his shape and just came down the wicket. Never even looked at the ball. And that's something that you've been talking about all the time. Just gifting your wickets. It was almost a nothing delivery. He could have just come there and just stayed there because West Indies within the range.
Well, his uncle, the coach, looked on at that. And if you were allowed to give your nephew a tap on the back of his head, I think Lendell Simmons deserves one right now. There's no reason he should have played that shot. There is no pressure. You are 54 for 1. Why in heaven's name would you play a shot like that? You're putting a lot of pressure on your team. You're also giving one of the most dangerous bowlers more confidence to bowl at your teammates. And so much is the pressure on the West Indies team that skipper Pollard, obviously hearing from the critics who have said that he should not have been allowing Holder to go in when the team is in trouble, he decides to come out now. Is that a good enough strategy? Are you therefore now saying to Poran, we're going to push you back, you're not able to go out there and bat under these circumstances? Lots at play here, but Skipper Pollard comes out and he's probably thinking, I'm going to go out and stamp this, I'm going to go out and stem the tide. But it remains to be seen whether him, even at his strike rate, will be able to stay there and bat these spinners long enough to pull West Indies out of what could be a potential slide.
Darwin, they need 78 singles. There's no devil in the bowling. And there's no need. Every now and again, the Sri Lankan bowlers bowl you a bad delivery, so you just have to wait. And if you knock the ball around, it's quite easy. You can be able to get this 78 singles. And so there's really no need for any pressure. If you bat, and somebody has to make their mind up and decide that, listen, I'm going to bat the whole 20 overs. Any one of these two players decide they're going to bat the 20 overs, West Indies will win the game. But in the meantime, Hasaranga is picking up 2 for 3 in his second over. They need 78 from 79 balls, and Kyron Pollard, the West Indies, he comes out and he wants to lead. Hasaranga into bowl to Pollard and almost had a ball on caught. He sort of pushed hard on that, and Hasaranga is smiling. He didn't get his finger under that one, Darwin. End of over number 7.
Drama here at Coolidge. The West Indies captain comes out and almost had to walk back in. Hasaranga is causing all sorts of problems for the West Indies batsmen. Some of them are self-induced. But that one, he flighted it nicely. Pollard pushed at it and almost gave a ball and caught a return catch back to Hasaranga. It's the two very experienced players out there now in Pollard and Gale. They're going to have to stop what could be quite problematic. I am still convinced that 1, 2, 3, 4 is missing a particular style of a batsman. I think in the ilk of Marlon Samuels. I've gotten some players listed, sort of like Shai Hope maybe, or Jason Mohammed, maybe even King from Jamaica. Someone who can bat and stay there is missing on this team.
Here comes Shamara. Is in out the bowl to Gale. Gale stands up and just pushes it right into the offside. And the fielder had a throw at the non-striker stump just to allow Pollard to know that we're still in contact. West Indies needs 78 more from 77 balls, 78 from 77. And Pollard is not. He's just faced 1 delivery so far. Gale has faced 6 deliveries, 54 for 2. And Shamara, his first over cost 15. He'll come in now to bowl to Chris Gale, the left-hander. He's starting from the Citizen by Investment Unit end, with the black side screen behind him. The end of this over, comments from Darwin, and then will be the voice of Colin James in the comments position. Round the wicket now to bowl to Gale down the onside, and Joel Wilson will signal a wide. And Chamara was just maybe just reminding Gale that, listen, I can bowl bumpers too, so you got to keep yourself in check. Christian Pollard just reminding Gale to, let's just stand back, let's enjoy ourselves tonight. We have to bring this home for the West Indies. Tonight, early o'clock, you could see Gale with a bigger stride out to the spinners. He's a tall guy. He's about 6'4", and knows what he has to do. He's a senior pro, as you would say. He's 2 and waits for Shamara. Shamara comes in now around the wicket to bowl to Gale down the onside again, and Joel Wilson will just get his hands out again and signal another wide.
Well, what are they saying? Are they deciding that they're going to have Shamara go after Gale and bowl short pitch deliveries at Gale? They're thinking that Gale is probably not in his most youthful stage, and they're trying to get the quick bowler. He's bowling a little over 140 kilometers an hour, and that can be a little bit difficult to play if he pitches it right. So the Sri Lankans trying a strategy here. How will Gale respond?
56 for 2. Shamara over the... Gale stands up and defends nicely to a good length delivery. So that was in the slot. Just maybe having a look. And once he gets his eye in, this ground is just maybe not big enough if he gets going here tonight at the Coolidge Cricket Ground. It's do or die. The winner takes the series. 1-1. You can't ask for a better start than this.
Don't think there's a ground big enough when Gale gets going, Springer.
He's 2. Quiet moment here. Just having a look here, Christopher Gale. Certainly with the Sri Lankan coaches, they'll be able to be looking to pull one out of the hat and feel that Shamara can dismiss Gale. He's in now to bowl to Gale down the onside, and he turns it fine enough down to the boundary for 4. And he's played so much cricket, Darwin, that if you bowl that line, he's a tall guy, and no pace on that. He just rolled the wrist over quietly and just turned it. And he's beating up himself to say, why did I bowl that line? If you bowl that line to Gale, that's easy pickings.
Absolutely. Gale just turned it around nicely. A lot of experience out there. He's seen them all. And Shamara will not be the most devastating bowler that he's faced. So I don't think Gale is too challenged by what he's attempting to do here.
Gale is 72 from 75 deliveries. Gale comes and just sneaks a single. That's not bad at all. He just punched that up to mid-off. You're a little bit surprised, Darwin. You see Gale got out of the blocks there very quickly. Played it a little bit to the right.
Well played.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for that. You took a long time. As if you were like also in awe and shock that you saw that. But he hit that on the run nicely.
He does. And it clearly is difficult for Gale when he runs down, maybe to come back up. He's not the youngest player on the team. And he has to ensure that the ball is wide of the fielders when he makes the attempt to run. That also puts some pressure on his batting because he has to make up for his lack of agility with scoring boundaries.
61 for 2. Pollard will face his second delivery from Shamara. Shamara into bowl to Pollard. Pollard comes stylishly forward. I'll say to you, Darwin, that Kyron Pollard's batting has improved tremendously. At one point in time, he was somebody who would be just thinking about hitting it maybe over mid-wicket, over long on, but all around the wicket now you could see him. You could see him come forward and push it to mid-on, stroke it to cover. His really batting has improved, and the amount of cricket that he's played around the world, it was, as he said, it was a joy to win something for Trinidad and Tobago. He's won the CPL, and then he won the CG Insurance Super 50. They went 7-0. He'll want to win for the West Indies here. He's out caught behind. Shamara strikes. Kyron Pollard didn't get that stride out right there. Played halfway. Cut her off there. Took a nick, and the keeper came up with a brilliant catch. The captain for the West Indies team goes back tonight without scoring. He rolled the wrist on that one, and the West Indies have lost their captain, Kyron Pollard.
And the West Indies are now staring at a potential problem. This one was a wide outside the off stump. Why did he push it that way? Why not just leave it? Why not get behind of it? I don't think he was in line. I don't think he played properly there. And Kieran Pollard certainly disappointing. I don't think that by any stretch this looks like the type of innings that we wanted to see from him. And the pressure continues to build. A small total. They've got up to 61 in 8, but 3 wickets are down. And the spinners have yet to actually start on both ends. So the pressure can only get worse here. I believe, too, that the Sri Lankans would have thought that when Pollard come in, they would have applied Shamara at him. They did, and it paid dividends. So Thank you, Springer.
So 8 overs bowled, 61 61 for 3. The West Indies need 71 more runs from 72 balls. Out comes Nicholas Puran in his small little career so far. Some 24 innings for the West Indies. Gale waits for Gunathalaika. He's back and punching that and gets an easy single as the fielder from cover pushes off there, and looks like the captain Angela Matthews. And I'm joined by Colin James. Good evening, Colin.
Good evening once again to you, Vernon. Good evening to listeners wherever it may be, whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon, anywhere around the world. We have a game on our hand, and
certainly
the West Indies batsmen still haven't figured out a way to play the Sri Lankan borders.
Gunathalaika coming around the wicket. It's just stopped by umpire Patrick Gustard. There's just maybe, I don't know if it's, is there some wind or something coming around there, Colin? There's lots of debris moving around.
The question is, where could the debris be coming from?
We wait and see.
Beyond the boundary?
Yeah, well, yes, it's just coming over. I think it's gone now, so I think everything is back in action. Gale and Puran just turned around because they were blowing very strong enough. 862 for 3. We're into over number 9. And Gunathalaika around the wicket now to bowl to Puran, who's facing his first delivery. Nice model of defense. He comes across nicely and plays it up to the short mid-wicket fielder. And he will have to really circumspect himself tonight. The West Indies need 70 from 70 balls. And they can win this game, but they'll have to play smart cricket. Gunathalaika into bowl to Puran. Puran is back and looking to whip this past the short mid-wicket fielder. And the pressure continues. 1 run so far from 3 deliveries. Puran talking to himself. He had naught in the first game, 8 in the second. He's not here in the third game. So he's not got on off yet for the West Indies. Tonight could be his night. He comes quietly forward. Had to think about that. He's a little nervous. You want to get off the mark. Colin, you play cricket. You know it is to be a naught. 62 for 3. Gale is 8.
Well, he shouldn't be nervous being on naught. Might feel a few butterflies, a little jitter here and there. But just bat. And if you're a good batsman, you should be able to play good spin bowling.
62 for 3. Gunathalaika comes in out to bowl to Puran. Puran is back and cracking that out to the sweeper. So he's off the mark comfortably. So Puran is off the mark. And that's what you want. You want to be able to just get that little pressure off of you and just make sure that everything is okay. The score goes up to 63 for 3. We're into over number 9. And the West Indies need 69 from 67 balls. 69 from 67. We see good evening to the Right Honourable Basil Morgan in Montserrat who's listening. Gale stands up and punches that down the ground to long off, gets an easy single. And over number 9 comes to an end. 64 for 3, the West Indies. Gale is 8. Puran is off the mark with 1. They need 69, at least 69 more runs. And Pollard looking there on the video screen with the video analyst to see where did he go wrong. And video analyst is just saying to him, I think you could have left that one, Skip. No need for you to be able to follow that one. He's still looking at it and he's going over the demographics of it. But that's past, that's history. And the West Indies need 69 more runs as we speak, Colin.
Well, 2 runs from that over, bowled by Gunathalaika, and a good over from him, keeping the pressure on the West Indies batsmen. No matter how much Pollard looks at the replay and analyze it, the fact is that he's back in the pavilion, and these analysis should have already been done if they weren't done before the start of this game, or even before the start of the series, because the West Indies selectors and even the management and coaching staff should have known that the Sri Lankans were going to come with a lot of spin bowlers and quality spin bowlers, and maybe they missed the trick in picking a specialist batsman or 2 in the squad.
Sandakan comes in now. The left arm wrist spinner is going to come in now to bowl to Gale. He's in now to bowl to Gale. Gale picks up the line, leaves that alone. No need for him to follow that. West Indies are 64 for 3. We're into over number 10. Gale is 9, Puran 1. Sandakan, some 29 years old, left arm wrist spin bowler. He's starting from the CIUN. Sort of flicking the ball like as we wait for a while, making sure that he gets his rhythm right. He comes in now to bowl to Gale down the onside. Gale looking for a run, but certainly not on as he had to get back into his crease. Puran saying, no chance there yet, skipper. You're not as young as you were before. So just take your time, keep going. Just turn that, but he really didn't have much pace on it, so he could have gone away to get a single. 64 for 3. Sandakan comes in now to bowl to Gale. Falling over there with that delivery. signaler wide. And Joel Wilson just getting his hands out there. So one more run to the West Indies. 65 for 3. West Indies needs 67 from 64 balls. 67 from 64. Sandakan, the left arm wrist spinner. He comes in now to bowl to Gale. Gale driving beautifully down to long off, picking up an easy single. And good common sense cricket there. Years of experience. You're looking at right there. You know what's going to be happening. Hasaranga can't wait to maybe get back into the attack. Gale is 10 and Puran is 1.
Why is that gap between the extra cover mid-off fielder and the man on the long off boundary? You should be trying to plug that gap rather than leaving it vacant there, because the batsman can always play easily down through that gap and get a single.
Sandakan comes in now to bowl to Puran. Puran is driving square out to the sweeper. They get 1 run. Dhananjaya just lobs the ball into the keeper. And so Puran goes to 2. Score goes up to 67 for 3. 67 for 3. Sandakan has bowled a wide so far. And they've been able to pick up 2 singles so far. Gale is on 10. He comes back into strike. And Sandakan, the left arm wrist spinner from the CIUN, in out the bowl to Gale. Gale is tugging this one down to long on, gets an easy single. And he goes up to 11. So Gale up to 11. Puran is on 2. He comes back into strike. Quiet period of play. Again, we want to say happy birthday to the national hero of Antigua and Barbuda, Sir Vivian Isaac Alexander Richards. Some 31 dot balls so far in the West Indies innings. Here is Puran driving beautifully out to the sweeper. He'll pick up another easy single from Sandakan. Over number 10 completed. Colin 69 for 3. Gale is 11 and Puran is 3.
Steady over there by Sandakan, keeping the batsmen relatively quiet, both Gale and Puran, but nonetheless the West Indies were able to get 5 runs. And it's a testing period for the West Indies at this stage of the game. They need another 63 runs from 60 balls. It's not beyond them, but once the Sri Lankan spinners settle on a good rhythm and they're pitching between wicket and wicket and having the batsmen to really be guessing what sort of deliveries they're bowling, is going to be a test of the ability of the West Indies batsmen. And the point I was making, Darwin mentioned it maybe he mentioned Marlon Samuels, but I'm saying what has become of Darren Bravo in terms of playing in this T20 team?
So we start the action again. Gunathalaika is being punched down the ground, and Puran gets an easy single. And I think you're right in terms of we're looking at the batsman. The other name which I think would come into context also to call in is Jonathan Carter, who is a 360 player, and against the spinners from Sri Lanka, he can reverse sweep, but it's early days yet, and we wait to see what happens. 70 for 3. Gale comes quietly forward to Gunathalaika delivery and just turns it onto the onside. So they get 2 singles so far in this over. Puran comes back into strike. Gale is calling for some gloves. West Indies will need 61 from 58 deliveries. 61 from 58. Look at top spinner there from Gunathalaika. And they're all different, the spinners here. Colin. Puran comes into strike. Round the wicket is going to collect a shot, and he's pulling that one down to protection on the deep backward square leg boundaries. So they can't get just 1 run. And West Indies just rotating the strike here so far. They're picking up 3 singles so far off this over. Puran goes to 5 and Gale is 12. Gunathalaika around the wicket. It's going to come in now to bowl to Gale. Gale is back, and that was real slow. It's almost like a Dwayne Bravo slow delivery. Had to wait for it. And he just played it into the offside, picked up another single. He goes to 13, and the West Indies need 59 more runs for 56 balls. Puran is on 5. He comes back into strike. So 4 singles off the over so far. 4 singles off the over. Gunathalaika in now to bowl to Puran. Puran is sweeping. Fielder from short fine and will have some work to do. He gets around, and they only get 1 run. So at least some 5 deliveries been bowled. 5 singles so far in this over. Puran goes to 6. Gale is on 13. He comes back into strike. West Indies need 58 from 55 balls. Gunathalaika comes in now to bowl to Gale. Into bowl to Gale. Slow delivery. He's looking for a single. Certainly not on. End of over number 11. West Indies need 58 from 54 balls. Gunathalaika's 2 overs so far has cost him 8 runs. 74 for 3 at the end of over number 11. Gale is 13. Puran is 6. Some more comments from you, Colin.
Well, just 5 runs from that over from Gunathalaika. And the interesting thing about Gunnar Kalaika, he's actually one of the opening batsmen in the Sri Lanka team, and he can come and bowl his spinners, and we really do an effective job. Within the West Indies top 4, except for Pollard, who promoted himself, I don't think any of our batsmen who bat in the top 4 can really bowl 2 or 3 effective overs.
So what happened to Chris Gayle? He just doesn't bowl these days.
Well, I'm only saying from what I'm seeing.
There's no need for him to bowl because they've been doing well so far after over number 11. 74 for 3.
Well, I'm going to make a bigger point than that.
Sure. Sandakan is being just pulled into the onside, into the long off area. They get a quiet single right there. So Puran quietly moves up to 6. 75 for 3. Went over number 12. Puran is 7. He just notches up to 7. Gayle is on 13. He comes back into strike.
Well, the point I want to make is that because Gunnar Kalaika can bowl, it gives the Sri Lankan the option of playing an extra batsman in their team.
Gunnar Kalaika, Colin is raising a point there. Sandakan bowls a flighted delivery. Can't score, he plays it up to Matthews, a short mid-wicket. 75 for 3. Gayle is a wait-and-see situation. They need 57 from 52 balls. At the end of this over, it'll be the voice of Garfield Burford. Went over number 12. Sandakan, wrist spinner. Sort of remind me of Dave Mohammed. Here's Gayle. He bowled him! Played right over it. Almost yoked himself, Chris Gayle. Good flighted delivery. Raised his head there. Lost it completely. And Sandakan on target. And hitting the stumps right there. The West Indies losing their 4th wicket. 75 for 4.
Well, that one was in the slot. It was a flighted delivery. Gayle trying to turn it into a half volley, missing it completely. Ball spinning past the bat and hitting middle and off stump. The excellent delivery from Sandakan. And the West Indies continue to misread the Sri Lankan spinners, and they continue to flounder against the Sri Lankan spinners.
Sandakan picking up his first wicket here in his second over. 1 for 6 so far, and out comes Jason Holder. And the last 33 balls for the West Indies, they've produced some 22 wickets, and they've lost 3 wickets. Went over number 12. And Holder coming out. It's a big, tall guy, right-hander, mixing with the left-hander. And Jason Holder's career so far, 149 runs. No 50s so far in his innings. But he batted beautifully in the first game and played a loose shot in the second game and just hit a 6 off Hasaranga and then got himself out. But tonight is a different night. 75 for 4. And the loss of Chris Gayle will send some feathers. Darwin Telemark is having some comments. I hope he's going to buy everybody drinks for the rest of the year when the West Indies will win this game tonight. Wait for a little while. Sandakan comes in now to bowl to Holder. Holder stands up straight and defends nicely. 4 deliveries bowled so far. Puran is 7. Holder is not. 75 for 4. We're into over number 12. Wait for a little while. Sandakan comes in now. He comes in now to bowl to Holder. Holder is punching that down the ground. And Sandakan should have done a lot better to be able to cut that one off. He wasn't able to complete that. Score goes up to 76 for 4. And Holder is off the mark with 1. 5 deliveries bowled in the over so far. 2 singles and a wicket. Sandakan has picked up his first wicket so far. And Puran comes into strike. He's on 7 from 10 deliveries. Coach Phil Simmons looks on, sees his team wiltering here. 76 for 4, went over number 12. Puran is still there, so that's a good sign. Sandakan comes in now to bowl to Puran, into bowl to Puran. Puran stands up straight and punches it and gets a single. And again, Sandakan should have done a lot better. So the completion of over number 12. The latest score here, West Indies are 77 for 4. Puran is 8. Holder is 1. More comments from you, Colin, and then will be the voice of Garfield Burford.
Well, 3 runs and a wicket in that over. Good over for the Sri Lankans. They continue to apply the pressure. The big wicket of Christopher Henry Gayle going back into the pavilion. The left arm spinner floating one up, and the ball but beating Gale's attempt to hit over the top by a long way and hitting the off and middle stump. And the West Indies batsmen, as we have seen in the previous 2 matches and even in this game, have continued to struggle against the Sri Lankan spinners. And this has to be a cause for concern, because if all these batsmen would have played in Asia, in the IPL, the Lanka Premier League, in the Pakistan Premier League, and they can't read the spinners in their own natural habitat. They're like, what? They're like playing like they're out of their depth.
We'll come back to that as this one is punched off the back foot. A square in the cover region. One more run to Puran. Start of over number 13, 78 for 4. The West Indies need 54 more runs from 47 balls. 54 from 47. Puran is on 9 from 11. Holder 1 from 2. I see your point, Colin. And by the way, Gunathalika is bowling from the southern end. You're saying that the batsmen should have, certainly in this series, they would have realized from the first match, the Sri Lankans recognize that there is an Achilles heel for the West Indies, and that's spin. They should have perhaps shored up their defenses for that. Here comes Gunathalika bowls, and this one is punched into it has turned into the leg side, can't score. A bit of a shouting and oohing and eyeing. Anxiety there as Dinesh Chandimal at mid-wicket doing the fielding. They can't score. Holder remains on 1 off 3, 78 for 4, 54 needed from 46. If you were the West Indies coach, what message would you be telling the two batsmen at this point?
Before you ask the question, I was going to say we should compliment the Sri Lankan coach, but I'm going to answer the question after this delivery.
This one is a stroke back along the onside of the pitch. They'll get one run. And that was an interesting thing because the batsmen were crossing for an easy single, and a bit of a collision between Jason Holder and Nicholas Puran. They were looking at the ball. They were both doing ball watching and almost crashed into each other.
Well, one is from Trinidad and one is from Barbados, so the traffic signals were not synchronized in there. I don't know if there's a different signal in Barbados for the traffic to go straight.
Gunathalika around the wicket and bowls, and this one is just driven back along the offside of the pitch. The bowler runs around doing the fielding. None for 10, Gunathalika. This is his third over, so he's been very tight. He's pulled things back. Akila Dhananjaya not being as effective as he was in the previous two games, certainly in the second game, but Gunathalika doing quite well. None for 10. 2 balls left in his third. He's up again bowls, and this one just making room for himself, just punching it down to long on. 1 more run for Puran. The left-handed Puran moves on to 10. 80 for 4. 10 is Puran. 10 off 14. Holder back on strike. He's on 2 off 4. 1 ball left in over number 13 for him. Of course, this is power play 1 is the first 6 overs when a maximum of 2 players allowed outside the circle. Maximum of 5 for the remaining 14 overs. This one is struck into the covers, can't score. Straight to Angela Matthews, the captain by Jason Holder. He remains on 2, 80 for 4 after 13. The West Indies need 52 from 42, 52 more runs from 42 deliveries. They're chasing 132 for victory. They're 80 for 4 after the 13th over.
Well, 3 runs from that over from Gunathalaka. The Sri Lankan spinners continue to not only plug away, but continue to keep the batsmen in check. A while ago, we saw Puran trying to give himself room, but he was still a little bit cramped in playing that shot because the ball came onto him maybe much quicker than he anticipated. And this is where, the Sri Lankan spinners have shown that they're a little bit a quality above the West Indies slow bowlers, because while the West Indies bowlers for the greater part have been containing, the Sri Lankan spinners have been able to take wicket, and they have been able to keep the batsmen not only in check, but they have been able to force them to play predominantly defensive shots.
Good. This one is Sandakan bowling, and this one is hit over long on for 6 by Nicholas Puran. So Puran is going on here, just stretching out to that one, getting to the pitch of that one. New over started by Sandakan, his third over, and Nicholas Puran getting that one in the slot and hitting a massive 6 over long on. He rushes on 86 for 4 now, 86 for 4 the total. He rushes on to 16.
Well, that one was wide of off stump, and it was turned into a half volley by Puran. Sandakan getting that one a bit offline, and Puran was just given the leverage that he wanted, and he was able to move into the shot as effectively as he wanted to, and getting 6 welcome runs to the West Indies.
Here comes Sandakan. What will his response be? Bowls, and this one is played back with a point short. Third man does the fielding, Angela Matthews, but they can't stop. He can't stop the batsman from getting a single. So Puran moving on to 17. The score 87 for 4. They need 45 more runs from 40 balls. 45 more runs from 40 balls needed. Holder on 2 comes back in strike. He's batting without a cap or a helmet at this point. He's facing up to Sandakan. Sandakan 1 for 15. This is his third over. 2.2 overs. deliveries. 1 4 15, 6 and 1 from the first 2 deliveries. Here he comes again, bowls, and this one is played quietly back along the pitch. Sandakan fields off his own bowling. There is no run. The left-handed slow bowler, Sandakan, he's been very effective, certainly was effective in the second match. He didn't play in the first match, and he came in for Pradeep, no one Pradeep in the second match. Here he comes again, over the wicket, bowls, and this one is played down to extra cover. They can't score. The fielding done there. At extra cover. The score remains on 87 for 4. 87 for 4. Dinesh Chandamal in that cover region. Here comes Sandakan starting again to bowl to Jason Holder, and Holder again drives this down to long off. Easy single for him as the fielding done there by Thisira Pereira, and the score goes up to 88 for 4. 88 for 4. 1 ball left in over number 14. 44 more needed from 37 deliveries. 44 from 37. Sandakan 1 for 16. Puran on 17 comes back on strike. He hit a lusty blow over long on for 6 for the first ball of this over. What will his response be? What will his approach be? This one is hit in the air, and that will go for 6. Over long off this time, and Puran is taking no prisoners. The end of over number 14. Puran rushes on to 23. Sandakan has a dazed look on his face. 14 overs gone, 94 for 4. 38 needed from 36 balls. Puran on 23, Holder on 3.
Well, he served up 2 juicy half volleys for Puran. The first ball of the over and the last one of the 14th over, and Puran just enjoyed himself. This is what he likes. He likes those deliveries wide of off stump in the slot, half volley length deliveries, and he's just going to open his arms and hit them as high and hard as he can, and that's what he did on that occasion. So Sandakan knows that he cannot give Puran the leverage that he likes, and he has to really get it between wicket and wicket. And the point I wanted to make earlier, Garfi, was that we saw in the Super 50 Cup, you asked me the question about what the West Indies coach would do, that the West Indies batsmen in limited overs cricket or white ball cricket do not move their feet as much as they needed to against whether it be the spinners or the pace bowlers. They tend to play too much from their crease, and they're not really stepping out, or maybe stepping outside of off stump, stepping outside of leg stump, maybe coming forward maybe a half a yard or 2 to try to see if they can manipulate the bowling. I don't know if Coach Simmons can do anything about that, because that's elementary coaching.
Chimera starts the new over. He's up to the wicket from the southern end bowls, and this one short. Bandara overrunning the ball a little bit there. Didn't feel cleanly. A quick single by Jason Holder, just playing that one into the covers, into a short cover position. Bandara was looking to swoop in on the ball, but as it was, it didn't take up cleanly. So a single for Holder. He's down 4 off 9. Brings Puran on 23 back on strike. Puran has certainly been looking to be quite aggressive. He's been on the front foot, and anything that the bowlers, any sort of margin for error with the bowlers, he certainly capitalized on it. 1 ball going in over number 15. Chimera, 1 for 23. This is his 4th over.
In the Super 50 Cup, we saw Evan Lewis and Lendl Simmons really enjoying themselves against the bowlers that came up against Trinidad and Tobago Red Force team, whether it be the slow bowlers or the pacers. But in this game, they have a different quality of bowling from the Sri Lankans.
Chimera around the wicket now and bowled him. Puran is bowled. What a delivery around the wicket, changing the line of attack, changing the angle, and Puran is absolutely beaten. Seems to have been beaten for pace there. Excellent delivery, and he was bowled.
Excellent delivery there. He was trying to maybe defend against a delivery that was cutting away from him. It was pitch maybe on middle stump and just going slightly away from the batsman. He was playing with the face of the bat, trying to defend the delivery, and the ball just moved past that defensive attempted defensive shot by Puran and hitting the off stump. Excellent delivery. They pitched on middle and hitting the off stump.
So it's 95 for 5 now. 95 for 5. By the way, after 14 overs, the Sri Lankans were 74 for 4. After 14 overs, the West Indies were 94 for 4. They are now 95 for 5 after 14.2 overs. They need 37 more runs to win from 37 balls, but they have lost a very good batsman in Nicholas Puran, who was looking on song. He was looking to really take the attack to the bowlers. He was counter-attacking with brutal power. He hit 2 sixes in the previous over, 1 over long on, 1 over long off. But now he's been castled by Danushka Chimera, Dashmantha Chimera, just coming around the wicket and certainly getting the ball to do a little bit there. It seems to have kept a little low as well, and he still seems to have played on the wrong line. He just didn't play along the right line, didn't get behind it, and the ball is taking the top of off stumps. So a look there of
if anything, Garfield, it might have bounced more than he anticipated. Certainly,
that's true.
In the Super 50, we were complaining that some deliveries from the southern end keeps a little bit low, but on this occasion, that was in the slot, and it was still moving away. And even when he hit the top of the off stump, you can see the bounce really caught Puran by surprise.
Indeed, so 95 for 5 now, and the new batsman is Robman Powell. Robman Powell has come in for Fidel Edwards in this match, so brought in for his batting, of course. Didn't bowl at all, wasn't called into the attack early when the West Indies bowled. So batsman Robman Powell facing up to Chimera, and this one is just played into the onside, played to mid-wicket. Doing the fielding is Angela Matthews, the captain. 95 for 5, and you can sense that the players and the dressing room as well, they sense that they could be onto something. They sniff blood. They sense that they could actually be closing in here on the West Indies. This is, you could call it the last recognized peer, an all-rounder in Jason Holder and Robman Powell, also an all-rounder, but a batting all-rounder. 95 for 5. Robman Powell is very belligerent with a bat. Perhaps that's not needed now. He just needs to play sensibly. He's facing up again. This is a back of a length delivery, short delivery, and he just plays that on the crease. That's playing it into the onside. Angela Matthews does the fielding, no run. 2 deliveries left in over number 15, 95 for 5. They need 37 from 32.
Dwayne Bravo still to come in the West Indies batting order. He's capable of batting, but Chimera and also Chimera, with his ability to get the ball to slant away from the batsman, is always going to be a handful. And the West Indies, we will be hoping that he doesn't do much damage in his next 2.
Chimera bowls, and this one just looking to run it down to third man, missing the ball, flying past the outside edge. Robman Powell living dangerously there. The ball just whizzing past the outside edge. He was looking to run it down to third man, and no contact made. Ball taken by Nirashandi Kwala. Was just oohing and eyeing, hoping that the Sri Lankans were hoping that there was an edge on that one. 37 needed from 31 deliveries. 95 for 5. In 1 ball left in over number 15. Chimera to bowl the last ball of his 4 overs. He's up to the wicket, 2 for 23, and this one is played into the onside. Can't score. Angela Matthews does the fielding at mid-wicket. The end of the 4 overs for Chimera. 2 for 23 from his 4 overs. 1 run conceded in that over, together with the wicket of Nicholas Puran. The West Indies need 37 from 30. They're 95 for 5. Powell yet to get off the mark. Holder on 4.
1 run and a wicket in the over by Chimera, and this is what Captain Angela Matthews would have been asking from his bowler. I don't think we have seen the captain in this game in terms of bowling, neither in the second match as well. So it just goes to show the all-round depth in the Sri Lankan bowling armory. They have enough bowlers, and well, maybe not the power hitters like the West Indies in their batting, but they can accumulate runs. And this is where the West Indies have always faltered. They just seem not to be able to accumulate runs. And this is why I agree with Darwin that a batsman of the caliber of Ahmad and Samuels, maybe not in terms of ability, but in terms of being able to rotate the strike, pick up the 1s and the 2s, would be effective for the West Indies. And, you know, they're missing someone like a Darwin Bravo, even maybe Jason Mohammed from Trinidad and Tobago. You know, those batsmen who are not necessarily big power hitters, but who can time the ball and get the ball into the gaps and get 1s and 2s. And I thought that Darren Bravo's timing had come back. His form had come back in the last game of the Super 50, the final. He was timing the ball well, and it was hitting it sweetly out of the middle of the bat.
Northern end, here comes a new spell started by Wanindu Hasaranga, bowling this time from the northern end. He's bowled from the southern end before, bowling now from the northern end. He's 2 for 3 from his previous 2 overs. You heard that right, 2 for 3. Here he starts again to bowl to the right-handed Jason Holder, and Holder is playing this one down to long on, coming off the long on boundary to field. 1 run as Bandara comes off the field, so 1 more run to the score. 96 for 5 now, 96 for 5. Hasaranga has bowled 42% leg spinner and 58% googlies in this series. He's bamboozled the batsman, and there is a slip in place now in Angela Matthews. Rovman Powell will be facing up for the first time to Wanindu Hasaranga. He's certainly an impact player for the Sri Lankans. He saw that in the Lanka Premier League, and he's continued with the momentum here. He's up to the wicket and bowls in this one. A premeditated sweep shot down to that backward square. 1 run to him, and he moves on now. He's off the mark. So off the mark is Powell. Brings Jason Holder back on strike. He's on 5, 97 for 5. We're in over number 16. 35 needed from 27 balls. 35 from 27.
I think Hasaranga would be happy to see that Powell playing that shot. If he misses, he's a candidate for leg before.
Here he comes, he bowls, and this one is a flighted delivery and taken on the pad, but it was going down leg side, so a bit of a stifled appeal from the Sri Lankans. 97 for 5. Hasaranga has been absolutely irresistible. He's considered two balls in this over so far. Dot ball, 1, and dot ball. What will the 5th delivery bring? He's up to the wicket and bowls, and going for that slog. The ball is coming off an inside edge. They get 1 down to a fine leg position, so 1 more run to Holder. That's for 2 it has 1 frame, and holding his hand was Hasaranga, because that one could have gone anywhere. It could have easily gone back onto the stumps. He was looking for that heave, the ball a French cut almost, and the ball just coming off an inside edge between the batsman and the stumps down to the fine leg position. He moves on to 6, brings Powell on 1 back on strike. 98 for 5. 1 ball left in over number 16. Here comes Hasaranga. There's a leg slip in place now, and this one is just played back along the pitch by Rovman Powell, and a bit of oohing and eyeing, a leg slip. So Angela Matthews is going to leg slip for that last ball of the 16th over. 3 overs for Hasaranga completed. 2 for 6 from his 3 overs. West Indies need 34 from 24. They're 98 for 5. Powell on 1, Holder on 6.
Well, just 3 runs coming out of that over from Hasaranga. And interestingly, as you pointed out, Garfield, there was a leg slip for the last ball of delivery. And I'm saying that might have been tempted by the fact that the first delivery that Rovman Powell faced from Hasaranga, he actually took the ball from just about outside the ball stump and played it into the backward square leg position. Had he missed on that occasion, he could have been a candidate for a leg before decision. And had he played the shot and miscued it, the leg slip could have been right there for a catch. So the Sri Lankans are thinking about getting these West Indies batsmen out. And more often than not, the West Indies batsmen are playing right into the trap set by the Sri Lankans. And this is where, I keep saying for a number of years now, we have to, in terms of West Indies selection, begin to pick genuine players for what they are, what they can do. You're picking 6 batsmen and you're picking 4 bowlers along with a wicket keeper, and stop these bits and pieces cricketers, somebody who you think can bowl a good 2 or 3 overs and maybe can bat a little. Back your bowlers, back your batsmen. 6 batsmen, a wicket keeper, and 4 specialist bowlers with 1 or 2 of your batsmen with the ability that they can bowl maybe 4 overs between them in a T20 game, or bowl 10 overs between them in a 50 overs match.
All right, so the batsman out so far, Lendl Simmons, stumped Dikwala off the bowling of Hasaranga. Evan Lewis, LBW, bowled Hasaranga, as well as Chris Gale, bowled by Sandakan. Karen Pollard caught Dikwala, bowled Chimera, and Nicholas Puran bowled Chimera. So those are the batsmen out so far. 98 for 5. 98 for 5. We'll be seeing Sandakan continuing. So as we said, Lendl Simmons stumped Dikwala, bowled Hasaranga. Evan Lewis, LBW, bowled Hasaranga. Chris Gale bowled Sandakan. Karen Pollard caught Dikwala, bowled Chimera. And Nicholas Puran bowled by Chimera. So far, Akila Dhananjaya, 3 overs, no maidens, 31 runs, no wickets. As here comes another delivery, and that one is Sandakan bowling his last over, his 4th and last, 1 for 22. That one outside the off stump. Holder looking to play that one into the offside, missing 6. He remains on 6 off 14, 98 for 5. Dushmantha Chimera, 4 overs, no maidens, 23 runs, 2 wickets. So he's bowled out. Wanindu Hasaranga, he has 1 over left. 3 overs, no maidens, 6 runs, 2 wickets. And Danushka Gunathalika, 3 overs, no maidens, 11 runs, no wickets. Here comes Sandakan, and this one is shot down very, very firmly, down to long off. Doing the fielding is Thisara Pereira. 1 more run, 99 for 5. Holder moves up to 7. Powell on 1.
Well, the Sri Lankan spinners just maybe have the edge over the West Indies batsmen, but it's going to be a test of the resolve of the West Indies batsmen to really play these spinners as they continue to enjoy themselves.
This one is hit in the air and just over. It actually parries it over. Does Danushka just parrying that one over the boundary for 6. He was looking to take the catch as Powell went for the shot over long on, and on the boundary there was the fielder looking to take the catch. He succeeded only in parrying it over the boundary for 6. So 6 runs, and Powell looking to tee off here. He's absolutely a power player. Sandakan will be disappointed with the effort in that. Here he comes again from the southern end. Bowls, and he is bowled him. Wow, what a response from Sandakan. Bowling Robman Powell for 7. 7 of 7, 104, 105 for 6, 105 for 6. And the batsmen continue to be bamboozled by the spin here. That one not going the way that he would have wanted. Going on with actually turning away from him and taking the top of off stump. He's gone, bowled for 7. The West Indies lose their 6th wicket, 105 for 6. They need 27 from 20 balls.
The previous delivery was short into the slot of Rodman Powell, and he opened his arms and hit it down to long on. The fielder was under it, a bigger ground. It would have been an easy catch for him. And then the next delivery, as Darwin is saying, was a Chinaman. For the delivery, no room to play the shot, cramped for space, still trying to play the forcing shot of the back foot, and the ball just beating the bat and hitting the stumps. I mean, this is so basic in terms of what the West Indies batsmen are doing in terms of their own downfall. It is unbelievable. These are highly paid players who are paid, and they are in a professional setting. They practice every day in terms of getting ready for matches, and they keep making these basic errors in terms of their batting approach. You must expect that the ball is going to come with something different. So read the ball coming out of the arm and play accordingly. Simple as that.
Well, in comes Dwayne Bravo. Dwayne Bravo, DJ Bravo. He has 4 T20 50s. As we look back at the delivery, he was playing obviously for the ball to either go straight on or actually come back into him. The ball actually went the other way, so the Chinaman and gone bowled. This delivery is in the air and will be caught. He's on a hat trick. Dwayne Bravo goes first ball. Just turning that one, the paddle sweep straight into the hands of the short mid-wicket. The West Indies are wobbling, 105 for 7, still needing 27 more runs to win from 19 balls. And Sandakan is on a hat-trick. He has 1 more legal delivery left in his spell.
Is there a shot called a nothing shot?
Well, there is.
Well, that was a prime example of a nothing shot. What was Dwayne Bravo attempting to do? He was neither going to get a single, he was neither going to get a boundary, and the fielder was placed exactly there. And the ball was pitched just about middle and leg stump, and Bravo trying to turn a delivery that all he had to do was to play straight. No need to be looking to turn that delivery behind square. Just play straight back along the pitch to the bowler. And as a result, the West Indies have lost 2 wickets in 2 balls, and the bowler Sandakan, who was moved from the northern end to the southern end, and he's reaping dividend. Sinking again by the Sri Lankan captain. Move the left arm spin away. He was roughed up by I think it was Poran. 2 sixes in the previous spell. Brought in now from the southern end, and he's reaping dividends for his team.
Hat-trick ball coming up. Sandakan on a hat-trick. 3 for 29. 1 ball left in his 4. He's up to the wicket and bowls, and forward defensive comes the new batsman Fabian Allen, playing it in square in the offside. No run. The end of 17 overs. So the hat-trick averted. 17 overs bowled. 105 for 7. Sandakan completing his 4 overs. 3 for 29. In the last over, 7 runs and 2 wickets in that. Allen, the new batsman, yet to get off the mark. Holder on 7 of 15. The series on the line. It's tied at 1 apiece. 27 more runs needed from 18 balls. The last 3 overs will tell us who will make this, who will win this series 2-1. The Sri Lankans in a huddle. They're discussing strategy. They're discussing machinations. The West Indies batsmen, the two of them, Jason Holder and Fabian Allen, also having a mid-pitch conversation. It's all happening here at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds as we see the spinners looking to weave a web around the West Indies batsmen, looking to bamboozle them. These two batsmen will be looking to take the West Indies home to victory. What will it be as we say good afternoon, as we say final comments from Colin, and then a little bit of time for Darwin Telemack?
Well, Garfield, it's a dicey situation for the West Indies. They can still get the required 27 runs from the 18 balls. It shouldn't be beyond them. Jason Holder certainly can bat, and he needs to just stay there with Fabian Allen and get the necessary 27 runs. But it's going to be a test of their will and also the ability to play good spin bowling.
Well, so thanks to Colin James for his expert analysis. 17 overs gone, 105 for 7. As we say, very good evening again, and a warm welcome to Darwin Telemack. This is played down to long off. He refused the single, Jason Holder, refusing the single there. So he doesn't want to expose Fabian Allen to the spin of Hasaranga. Interesting. So he, but Fabian Allen is no rabbit with a bat.
That's not interesting.
Here comes Hasaranga. He starts again to bowl, and this one is played down to long on again. He refuses the single, Jason Holder, so he's not about to put Fabian Allen to face Hasaranga. Hasaranga, this is his last over. 27 needed from 16 balls. He's 2 for 6. This is his 4th over. 2 for 6. You heard right. Here he comes again. Bowls and forward defensive comes Jason Holder, getting his long legs out.
I think he's decided to bat Hasaranga out. It's a strategy that I think he's going to take charge. He's out there and he's saying, I'm taking charge. I'm going to determine what happens. I'll bat the next 5 deliveries out. I'll take a single and you'll get 1 delivery. Or he might take 1 on the 4th delivery and reduce how much exposure is there for Allen. He's backing that in the last 2 overs he can get, no matter what the number of runs are on the board, he can get it in 12 deliveries.
That was a no ball, by the way. So a free hit. So a no ball from Hasaranga, and therefore a free hit. And this one is hit in the air, and that will go for 6. So Jason Holder capitalizing on the free hit, and Angela Matthews is absolutely dismayed by that. A no ball from Hasaranga. Looking back at the replay here, yes, his heel, nothing behind the line, no ball. As a result, free hit, and Jason Holder took full advantage. 6 runs over long on.
Certainly well played, Jason Holder. He's the coolest head out there, maybe on the team in itself. He's the skipper of the red ball, and he played that one beautifully. Here comes
Hasaranga, 20 from 15 needed, plays it back along the pitch, no run, fielded by the bowler. Hasaranga off his own bowling. So dot ball, no ball, free hit 6, dot ball. What will the penultimate legal delivery of this over bring? We're in over number 18, 112 for 7. Here comes balls, and this one is just beating the edge there, beating outside the off stump. Good delivery. The googly again. He likes to bowl. He's more bowled more googlies than leg spin in this series so far. 1 ball left in over number 18, 112 for 7. 112 for 7. They need 20 more runs from 13 balls. 20 more runs from 13 balls. Here comes Holder. He's on 13 of 21, facing up again to Hasaranga. 2 for 13 is Hasaranga's figures. Here he comes. He's up to the wicket, bowls, and forward defensive, displaying this one quietly back along the pitch. And Hasaranga kicks the turf because he recognizes that he gave up that 6 in the over, which may prove influential, which may prove at the end of the day consequential in this match. Hasaranga completes his 4, 2 for 13, and despite those impressive figures, he still looks disappointed after having that free hit and the 6. Allen yet to get off the mark. Holder on 13, 2 overs left, 20 more needed from 12 balls.
Yes, and certainly that should be easy to be done. Sri Lanka looks as if they're going to be asking Pereira to bowl. Or if not Pereira, no. It looks like it's going to be...
I'll tell you shortly, but obviously it will be a very crucial penultimate over here. Crucial penultimate over. 20 more runs needed from 12 balls. 20 from 12 balls. And Angela Matthews in discussions here. It will be Dhananjaya, Akila Dhananjaya. So far, he has figures of 3 overs, no maidens, 31 runs, no wickets. If ever his captain and his team needs him now to deliver, it will be at this time. He'll be bowling to Fabian Allen. Fabian Allen yet to get off the mark. He's faced 1 delivery so far, and Akila Dhananjaya has an opportunity to really go after Fabian Allen here, tie him down. Allen will be looking to give the strike to Holder, who is better set. He's on 13. Fabian Allen, he has a strike rate of 108. Here he comes, and this one is hit in the air. That's a huge 6. Fabian Allen, that one is going to come down with ice on it. Brilliant shot over deep mid wicket, just swinging it. And Akila Dhananjaya, first ball 6. The score 118 for 7, 14 more needed from 11 balls. Fabian Allen smoked that one over deep mid wicket.
And he smashed it, picked it up beautifully, Allen did. And playing this entire game full of confidence, bowled particularly excellently for the West Indies when he did, fielded well. His confidence is high. His game is up. He is in full form in all aspects of his game. He stood there confidently and smacked it out of the grounds, lost ball, and the umpire is out there replacing that ball. No one is going to go look for it. It went to the airport. It took a flight.
It took a flight indeed. That one, it came down with ice on it. I waited interminably long time to find out when the ball would actually come down just behind the sticky wicket pavilion, and eventually came down with ice on it. Here comes Dhananjaya. What will his response be? This one is flighted and going for the swing again over deep mid wicket. It actually gets, he will actually get 2 runs down to, as the ball trickles down to that third man position. Fine third man position, 2, and was that a leg by signal?
That was run.
It actually runs. So he got a bit of a niggle onto that one. So 120 for 7 now. 12 more needed from 10 balls. 12 more needed from 10 balls. Mickey Arthur has a look of exasperation on his face, the Sri Lanka coach. Here comes Dhananjaya. He's up to the wicket again, and this one is hit higher, and that will go for 6 again. That's a lost ball again. Fabian Allen is on fire. 6 more needed from 9 balls. 126 for 7. Allen moving on to 14, and it turns out that Akila Dhananjaya wasn't the golden arm. In fact, he's been the Achilles heel. Hit for 2 sixes in this over. 6 more needed from 9.
And certainly Allen continued with the confidence that we saw in his game from the start. He feels it, he knows it, and he's going to deliver for his team here. I think this young man has a bright future ahead of him. He feels well, he bowls well, he's proven I can hit it as well. And one wondered why then did Jason Holder shield him from Hasaranga. He's trying to say, I am no slouch, I can do this. Don't you be keeping me from the strike next time around, Mr. Holder.
The second time the ball has been changed. This one is a stroke, this time into the covers. It will be 1 run as the sweeper comes off the cover boundary, who is Bandara. Does the fielding, 1 more run. Allen batting sensibly. So that one, the ball seems to have slipped, that last 6. The ball seems to have slipped from the grasp of Akila Dhananjaya, turned into a full toss, and he really gave it the treatment, hammering it over deep mid wicket. In fact, over the pavilion, out of the grounds for 6. 127 for 7 now. 5 more needed from 8 balls. Allen is on 15 from 5. What a cameo. 15 from 5 delivers. Holder on 13 of 22. Faces up now to Dhananjaya, and he backs away. Dead ball will be signaled. The bowler has to return to his pavilion. The Jason Holder was not quite ready there. Perhaps some movement behind the side screen. Yes, indeed. So he just backed away. Here he comes again, facing up. He taps away the crease. This one is flighted delivery, full toss, and is driven down to long on. Hasaranga comes off the long on boundary to field. 4 more runs needed now, so they are boundary 1 hit away from victory, and a victory in this series. The West Indies, they tottered, they floundered a bit, but they are on the verge of victory. Akila Dhananjaya, can he bring some late heroics in this contest? Here he comes. 1 ball left in his over, and this one, that's it. 6 runs over long on. 6 runs, and Fabian Allen brings up victory in fine style. What a match. 134 for 7, the West Indies finish. Victory by 3 wickets. Fabian Allen, a fantastic cameo from him, getting victory. And he's being hugged by Jason Holder. He's also being complimented by the Sri Lankan fielders. West Indies win the match by 3 wickets and win the series 2-1. Mickey Arthur, the coach of the Sri Lanka side, and the Sri Lanka players are dismayed. They're absolutely shell-shocked because Akila Dhananjaya was brought on to try to get the West Indies to wobble even more. The West Indies, though, had other ideas. Fabian Allen, 3 sixes in the over, bringing up victory in fan style. West Indies victory by 3 wickets, 134 for 7.
Yes, I don't think they're shell-shocked. I think they knew it could have gone either way. They brought themselves back in with some very good spin bowling, some horrible shots, and shot selection and choices by the West Indies batsmen. That gave them a shot, but they knew they did not put enough on the board, scoring 131. I think the West Indies team, having won this series 2-1, have a lot of questions to ask themselves. And they need to go back and really fix this. Winning a W means that the game is over and you came out on top. Your performance, your strategy, your team, the structure that you've placed on the field, there are problems out there, and the West Indies team needs to quickly fix those. I don't think that this by any stretch should give anyone in the back room and the selectors of the West Indies team any pause to actually feel confident that they have something good on show here. Terrible effort on the West Indies side. Good fight from Sri Lanka, and West Indies they yet would be happy that they won.
Indeed, happy and relieved, I think, that they won, because they did totter, they did flounder, they did have some anxious moments. There was consternation, there was perturbation for the West Indies, but in the end, celebration, because it was a cameo from Fabian Allen, looking back at the 6, this one in the slot, turned into a half volley and smoking it over long on. The ball went high, the fielder at long on thought he might have had a chance, but the ball is sailing over his head, a despairing look from the fielder at long on, and a celebration, absolute joy. Cock a hoop is Fabian Allen. What a fantastic knock from him. He ended with a cameo. Fabian Allen, 21 from 6. The West Indies winning by 3 wickets with 6 balls remaining, overhauling the target of 131, reaching 134 for 7, 134 for 7 in 19 overs. Let's remind you of what has taken place so far. So the West Indies, of course, chasing 131 for 4 made by the Sri Lankans, needing 132 for victory. They started in a way that didn't kind of give you the confidence that they would have certainly had an uneventful chase. 37 for 1 when Evan Lewis, when he was the first to go. LBW bowled Hasaranga for 21. He was absolutely fortunate. Well, he was actually fortunate the previous delivery, going for the sweep shot, taken on the pad, loud appeal. Not out was the umpire's decision. It went to the review. It pitched marginally outside leg stump, and the very next delivery, he was out, leg before wicket, attempting another sweep shot. He was the first to go. 21, he made off 18 deliveries, 3 fours and 1 6. Then it was 54 for 2 when Lendl Simmons went. Lendl Simmons was stumped by Dequala of the bowling of Hasaranga, walking past one. 26, he made 17 deliveries, faced 3 fours, 1 6. Then it became 61 for 3 when Kyron Pollard went, the captain. He was caught by Dequala of the bowling of Chimera without scoring, facing 3 deliveries. Then it became 75 for 4 when Christopher Henry Gale, the universe boss, went. Christopher Gale, bowled by Sandakan for 13, facing 20 deliveries, 1 4 in that. Then 95 for 5 when Nicholas Puran went. He had a bit of a cameo, made 23 from 18, hit 2 sixes, 1 over long off, 1 over long on, but then he was bowled by Chimera, and Chimera had his tails up when he bowled Nicholas Puran. The Sri Lankans believed at that point that they could possibly wrest this match away from the West Indies. It was 105 for 6 when Robman Powell went after hitting a 6. It was actually parried by the long on fielder over the boundary for 6. The very next ball, Robman Powell was bowled by Sandakan for 7, facing 8 deliveries with that single 6. Then 105 for 7 when Dwayne Bravo went first ball. He was attempting to stern one, a kind of paddle scoop around to the onside. It went straight to the short fine leg fielder, caught by Pereira of the bowling of Sandakan without scoring. That's a 1 ball faced. Jason Holder stayed there to the end. He was on 14 from 23, 1 6. And Fabian Allen, what can we say about a cameo innings that he played? 21 from 6 deliveries. You heard right. 21 from 6 deliveries with 3 huge sixes. We're going to be hearing now from the man of the match right now. We're getting ready for the man of the match here to be speaking to the post-match interview. Of course, it is Fabian Allen who has gotten the man of the match. Fabian Allen for his wonderful performance with both bat and ball. And let's go over now. Not quite ready, but let's remind you what Fabian Allen was able to do when he bowled. He had figures of 4 overs, no maidens, 13 runs, 1 wicket, 1 for 13 in 4 overs, and then with a bat, he was absolutely impressive. Let's listen to him now.
Player of the match for today, and that award goes to Fabian Allen for his spell of bowling, 1 for 14 from 4 overs, and for his finishing touches to the innings, 21 unbeaten of just 6 deliveries and 3 sixes as well. Congratulations, Fabian. Before the start of this game, did you have a chat with your captain to find out the reason why you didn't finish your complement of 4 in previous matches?
No. Anything the captain asks for, I just deliver whenever I ask for, so I did not question it.
We haven't seen you in this series bowl in the power play and bowl as many overs as you did today. Was that a role that you embrace?
Yes, definitely. I prepare for everything. So this keeper said, Fabian, look, you have to bowl in the power play. So I just back myself and just execute.
What was different about your bowling today? Was it the manner in which the ball was coming out, or did you get some assistance from the pitch as well?
Well, definitely. The pitch is very slow, so I just look to execute my plan. So and it worked today. So
at the halfway stage, what was the mood like in your team, eyeing up a fairly easy run chase?
Well, when I look at the dressing room, we have quite a lot of power, and they're very experienced. But about myself, I know that I can win games. I just execute.
Many of us are curious to find out about the conversation that you had with Jason Holder when he decided to face all the deliveries in that 18th over. Care to share that conversation and the reasons?
Yeah, I said I'm not comfortable batting him, so I tell Jason Holder, so look, you have to block him out, and then I will do the finishing.
And again, when you had that equation of 20 runs to score off the last 2 overs, were you always confident of you scoring those runs?
Yes, definitely. When you look back how I play in the CPL, I used to this, so I just back myself and just execute.
Is this one of your better days as a cricketer, showing your all-round skills, wicket, runs, and that brilliant catch as well?
Yeah, definitely. It was a good performance overall.
Congratulations. Well done on your award. All the very best.
Thank you.
There we go. So, man of the match, the player of the match, Fabian Allen, for a fantastic all-round performance. 1 for 13 from his 4 overs. What a performance with the ball. And if you thought that was impressive with the bat, he had a cameo. So 4 overs, no maidens, 13 runs, 1 wicket for an economy of 3 1/4. And then, of course, with the bat, he was absolutely irresistible. 3 sixes, 3 huge sixes. In fact, he brought up victory with a 6, 21 from 6. Fabian Allen, one of the impact players, and he showed that today.
He didn't just bat, he didn't just bowl, he fielded well. Even to his bowling, he stopped a few singles by running across, picking up, running as far out as cover, picking up. When he went on the boundaries, he came in quickly, he stopped 2s, he cut off the 3rd runs a few times, cut off some boundaries. If you look at his overall game, and in T20 cricket, you're not just bowling and batting. Your fielding plays a significant role. So bringing the score down to 131 means that the fielding team would have actually fielded better, restricted the batsmen from getting boundaries and 2s. Fabian Allen on the cover boundary and on the deep mid-wicket boundary where he was, did quite a few of those. Overall, brilliant game. And his effort here has the spark to begin to demonstrate to the West Indies players that with effort, with consistency, you can lift your game, and as you lift your games, all parts of your cricket can become better. Well done, young man. I hope he keeps it up in the next format.
Absolutely, indeed. And let's remind you, in terms of the bowling for the Sri Lankans, the difference today was Akila Dhananjaya, who was very expensive indeed. 4 overs, no maidens, 53 runs, no wickets. He went for 13.25 his economy, and that was the difference really between what happened in the second match and what happened today. Dhananjaya proved to have been the Achilles heel for the bowling attack of the Sri Lankans. Dushmantha Chimera, the right arm fast medium, 4 overs, no maidens, 23 runs, 2 wickets. He was absolutely absolutely good. Wanindu Hasaranga, as usual, he's proven to be an impact player several times over and over. You would have heard Fabian Allen there say he wasn't comfortable facing up to Hasaranga, so he asked Jason Holder to just bat him out, to just play him out, and then Fabian Allen, would have done the scoring. Wasindu Hasaranga, 4 overs, no maidens, 13 runs, 2 wickets, an impressive performance. Danushka Gunathalika, 3 overs, no maidens, 11 runs, no wickets, and Lakshan Sandakan, 4 overs, no maidens, 29 runs, 3 wickets. Sandakan, again, the pick of the bowlers so between Sandakan and Hasaranga, certainly the 2 bowlers who were most impressive. Let's go back downstairs.
International and winning the series. This CG Insurance T20 International Series between the West Indies and Sri Lanka. Cricket West Indies would like to thank its sponsors, of course, title sponsor CG Insurance, team sponsor Sandals Resorts, Betway, MasterCard, Blue Waters, and the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Authority. I have the pleasure of chatting with the captain of Sri Lanka, Angelo Matthews. First, Angelo, 131 yet again. At the halfway stage, did you think that you would still go on to win this one?
Yeah, I thought, especially after the last game. But we still, we were about 15, 20, 25 runs short again. Our bowlers were brilliant. Once again, they had a fantastic series. Wanindu Hasaranga was outstanding. Akila Dhananjay and Lakshan Sandakan also, kept us right in the game all along. But unfortunately, the batters, including myself, didn't, turn up today and, get the runs on the board.
Yeah, I know you haven't had a lot of time to reflect, but just looking at your batting, the first 10 overs in the previous 2 matches, you were very good. This time around, you struggled with the loss of wickets. Any reason or reasons for that sort of effort with the bat?
Not really. I mean, it was a tactical change by the West Indians, bowling their spinners in the first 6. It makes a difference because the pace on the ball is quite easy on this wicket. As soon as the ball gets older, it gets difficult. But, we could have worked things around a little bit again, but we kept losing wickets at, crucial stages, and that's why we lost today.
You kept yourself in the hunt. 37 was the opening partnership for the West Indies, and then you started to get wickets. Eventually, this game boiling down to 27 from 18. You had a chance to speak with many of your players at that stage of the game. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, our option was to, try and take wickets. I mean, obviously we can't contain them, in the 20 overs. We've got to keep taking wickets. We've got to put the brakes on by taking wickets. And I thought bowlers did well, but, unfortunately the batters didn't give enough runs for the bowlers.
I mentioned the length of time it has taken you to win a series, being way back in 2019. Finally, there's always something significantly constructive about going through a defeat. What would you say that is at the end of this series?
Yeah, I thought the boys, worked extremely hard. We've got a new set of players, a young set of players. I mean, Pasum Nisanka, Ashin Bandara batted brilliantly. So lots of positives. I mean, the way the three, 3 spinners bowled, they were, outstanding. It's just that we couldn't get enough runs on the board. I mean, credit should go to the West Indies as well. They're a, world-class team, and they've got a lot of experience in their lineup, and, they held their nerve.
Commiserations again to you. All the very best for the ODI series and the Test series.
Thank you.
That was Angelo Matthews, the captain of Sri Lanka. Now, moving on the program, we've got the CG Insurance Player of the Series, and that award goes to Wanindu Hasaranga for his bowling. 8 wickets in the series. He joins me. I'm going to be quite brief with you, Wanindu Hasaranga. Tell me, what was special about your bowling in this series?
I always try to bowl dot balls. Then that's why I bowled well.
And are you very disappointed that your bowling efforts didn't contribute towards your team securing a series win?
Yes, little bit. But especially Akila Sandakan helped me a lot. Then that's why I can bowl economical.
Excellent. Finally, in terms of the conditions that you experience here at Coolidge, did that favor your type of bowling?
Yes.
All the very best. Congratulations to you, Hasaranga. Look forward to seeing you for the remaining part of this tour.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was our CG Insurance Player of the Series. Now for the winning captain, Karen Pollard joins me. Karen, were you pleased with that victory?
Please? A win is a win, a series win is a series win. We'll deal with that afterwards.
Now, how do you respond to the fact that many of your batsmen were flummoxed by the spin shown and provided by the Sri Lankans?
Again, obviously it proved difficult. They have 3 world-class spinners in their lineup, and I thought they came and they bowled excellently. They bowled the right lines and the right lengths, and yes, they had us a bit bamboozled at the end of the day. But having said that, I think the belief in the dressing room and within the group, I think, is what carried us through. I know I can only imagine some of the chatter that would have been going on, about what is transpiring here. But I must give the guys credit. Fabian in the back end holding his nerve. But more importantly, I thought Jason Holder that over against Hasaranga, that was the turning point for us. In that game, he used his experience. He decided that he is the one going to bat those 6 balls for the team and give Fabian the free will to go and continue to hit boundaries. So well done to him. But again, well done to the entire team and well done to the bowling unit as well.
How would you assess the bowling today and by extension the bowling throughout this entire T20 International Series?
Fantastic. I thought the guys came in, day in, day out, and they put in honest day's work. We continue to work on our variations, we continue to work on our lines and length, and again, we were disciplined, in that aspect of it. Guys were able to execute wide Yorkers, straight Yorkers, slower balls. So again, that's a good sign, for us. Yes, from a batting point of view, we would have let down, ourselves, as batsmen throughout the series, but, God is good, and when they continue to unite, as one, I think the management team and the players deserve a lot of credit, for this victory.
Now, in this T20 International Series, you had a couple experienced players joining you, the likes of Chris Gayle, Phil Edwards. Did you learn anything different from their inclusions?
Yeah, of course. Again, you see these guys walking around. You see these guys, within the hotel at different times, at dinner, chatting to the youngsters, guys, showing that sort of unity and sharing experience, and wanting to do well. So, again, it's something that has been missing, for a while. And, we're happy, again, the doors are open for each and everybody to come back and play and lend the experience, because it's going to take each and every one of us, to go to that World Cup and do well. And, as I said, we want to win games and win series, and again, this is a start. Yes, some of my batting point of view, guys would not have scored the big runs, but it happened on both sides. So
you mentioned at the start of this series how important this will be for your preparation into that T20 World Cup. Would you say that you're satisfied at the end of the 3 matches?
We got a series win. I said we want to win matches. We faltered in the second game. We went straight to the end. That's why it's a team sport and it's not tennis or golf we're playing. And again, we just have to learn from this. Guys have to go back, look at, various techniques, how they want to combat, the spin. Obviously, the balls are going both direction. And we have time, and this could be a learning experience even for some of the most experienced ones that we have. Myself, Chris, Brav, even Simo. We can learn a lot still, and hopefully, when we learn and we learn quickly, pass it on to the youngsters and just continue, in that vein.
Well, you've worked hard for this win today and for the series win. I'm not going to keep you back. You have a trophy there that you've got to take to celebrate with your team. Congratulations again, and all the very best for the rest of the tour.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Congratulations to Kyron Pollard.
So it's Kyron Pollard now collecting the CG Insurance T20 trophy. Of course, winning, the West Indies winning by 2 matches to 1. 2-1 in this 3-match series. He takes the trophy to the players, to his dressing room, and of course, I'm pretty sure the champagne will come out at some stage, and there will be quite a bit of celebration, but there will be quite a bit of introspection to be done as well, Darwin, because as you heard him say there, the very first response to the question, he says a win is a win, but we'll have to deal with certain other things afterward. I'm pretty sure making reference to the fact that they had their problems, they had their challenges, especially with the spin. That was an Achilles heel for the West Indies in this series, and I'm pretty sure that it's something that they can expect in the ODIs and in the test matches as well. Hasaranga will be one to stay, one to watch for the rest of the series.
And Garfield, there's not much you can say out in the public as it relates to the difficulties you face. I thought Fabian Allen demonstrated some inexperience in what he said when he described what happened between himself and Holder. You don't say that publicly. You don't say that so your team, the other team, can hear you say that you're terrified of facing any bowler. I think that was a mistake. The skipper here, very diplomatic, very clear in not wanting to say what he knows. But it's clear, if you're watching this team, there are problems with the team. They need to get some pieces added to it, and they need to be able to find those right pieces and trust themselves to get those pieces right. the batting is a problem. And the batting is a problem because it's going into ODI series against those same spinners who are going to have 10 overs each to throw at you. And if we're hearing that we are terrified and bamboozled, I don't think that's a good thing to be hearing at this stage. So it's going to be fun to see what happens in the ODIs. There's a different nucleus of players that will be surrounding himself, Pollard, and this team. So let's see if they can do a better job. Going forward with the World Cup, this team should not be the team that goes. This squad cannot be the squad that West Indies is hoping to take to the World Cup. They have to fix the squad, make some changes, add some new players in, and hopefully get something better. There are players they can add in, and they should. Okay, there are players I think on the batting lineup. If Kyle Myers, Jason Holder, Jason Mohammed, Shai Hope, if these guys can play in your ODI team, they can bat here in the 2020 team to keep your batting a little bit more steady and create a less of an impact because of the strikers that you have all the way from 1 to 6. They have to fix that to get it right.
All right, the views there from Darwin Telemack. I'm pretty sure that will initiate, it will trigger some significant discussion, some sort of conjecture, some sort of discussion around the region as to where the West Indies, how the West Indies, in their build-up to the World T20s in India later this year, how they will build up for that. But the news is from the Coolidge Cricket Ground is that the West Indies have won the series 2-1, a victory by 3 wickets with 6 balls to spare, a cameo in the end of 21 from 6 deliveries from Fabian Allen, who happens to have been adjudged as the player of the match. So player of the match is, of course, Fabian Allen. The player of the series, creditably and deservedly so, Wanindu Hasaranga, who promises to be a player to watch in the rest of this competition. Let's hear finally from Coach Phil Simmons.
We've won the series and we've got to take that because that's what we got to start doing from now. The talk in the camp is from now to World Cup. We got to start winning series so we get that winning feeling. But I also think that we know in the dressing room that this is not my kind of win. This is a young people's win. I don't like that. I like the old fellas win where we win easy, you know. So we need to make sure we get together. But as I would say that we are a new team because there's a lot of guys come back in. There's a lot of youngsters. So we understand in each other. We understand how we play, and that is a good thing to win the first series that we're together and move forward. But there's a lot to improve on.
Yeah, a lot to talk about, Philip. Particularly, you talked about rotation strike in your interviews yesterday about 1 PCC and 4. You didn't quite get that from the top 2 or 3.
No, and that's it. We still have a few soft dismissals. We're not as bad a unit at playing spin as this series has looked. We're better at playing spin than that, but it's a case of people taking ownership of certain situations, certain phases in the game. In T20, that's how it works. So we've got to make sure we get that down pack for the next series.
You guys have worked at this. Is this something that guys have worked at, rotation of strike, and that mental process of trying to stay in there?
Yeah. I think the experience of the guys who bat at the top, they've been around long enough, and today it showed a little bit better because you had Chris looking for singles to mid off, you had Lenny looking for singles, and still being able to hit the ball over the boundary. So it's something that we have to draw in and add into the game, but it's a start.
Phil, there are a couple of bits of reflections on the game on tape that I want us to get through. That 18th over where that pressure was absorbed by Jason Holder.
Well, that is experience. That's good cricketing now, as I would say, because after the first ball, I was like, boy, you need to take this. But then you realize what the play was. We had 2 overs after that, and they had finished most of their bowlers. He was the last main bowler, so somebody had to bowl those 2 overs. And that was the point, and not taking those singles. And 20 runs in 2 overs in this format is not a hard thing.
That pleases you, Jason Holder doing what he did?
Well, at first, to be quite fair, until I heard the coach now mention the plan, I was kind of upset, basically, because I know Fabian Allen can bat.
Yes.
Right, so I was kind of wondering why did Jason Holder did that. But now that Coach Simmons explained, I can kind of understand. But I wasn't really for it at first, really.
Phil, thank you very much for giving us that insight. I have one more piece of tape that I want.
All right, there you go. So comments there from Phil Simmons, the West Indies coach, talking about the fact that despite a win of the series, they still have some things to work on. He did say that they're not as bad a unit playing spin as this series would have perhaps showed or suggested to some individuals watching this match or watching the series. But obviously, he would have been quite disappointed by some of the ways the batsmen got out and essentially handed their wickets to the opposition. So obviously, more to be worked on as the West Indies prepare for the World Cup as well. Let me get your final comments on that, Darwin, and then we wrap up.
Well, certainly I believe that Coach Simmons is in a much better place than he would have been had they fallen short of 131 this evening. He has to take that. He has to run with it. Once again, he can't stand there and criticize this team. He's going to go back in, sit with the backroom staff, sit with the selectors, and demand better. All right, he needs better. He's not the kind of guy who wouldn't ask for better. If he knows he needs it, he's going to do so. We wait to see how they make the adjustments. It's also not fair to say that we could bat better against the spin that we did. Clearly, we saw some very troubling sights out there, and especially in an international game when one batsman has to bat the way Jason Holder batted against Hasaranga to prevent Fabian Allen from getting a single or even coming to that end. That speaks volumes of a team that added a lot of power to the Sri Lankan teams this early in a series. When you have ODIs coming up, test matches coming up, they know they got you, so they have to come back and combat that sort of psychological edge which they handed over to the Sri Lankan teams, and I hope they can.
So the news is from the Coolidge Cricket Grounds, the West Indies winning the series by 2-1. The first match last Wednesday won by the West Indies by 4 wickets with 41 balls to spare. Second match last Friday won by Sri Lanka by 43 runs. And today's match won by the West Indies by 3 wickets with 6 balls remaining. The player of the match today, Fabian Allen, for his fantastic all-round performance, a cameo at the end to bring up victory, 21 of 6 deliveries. And the player of the series, deservedly so, Wanindu Hasaranga, who will figure prominently in the rest of the series. 3 one-day internationals come up. The attention turns to that. The Sir Vivian Richards Stadium next Wednesday is the first of those one-day internationals starting at 9:30. Our coverage will start 15 minutes earlier at 9:15 next Wednesday. On behalf of the entire team, including Darwin Telemann, Vernon Springer, as well as Colin James, and earlier in the series, Vincey Bowen and of course Terry Laraji, plus of course technicals headed by Trevor Parker and Taj Martin, on our executive producer Ernest Brathwaite. Thanks as well to our co-producer who is Andrew Mason. I really appreciate it. This is a production of Vibes Radio Dominica in association with ABS Radio here in Antigua. We thank all the stations for joining us. We thank you for watching if you did so on CWI's YouTube channel, and we thank you for listening wherever in the world you are. I'm Garfield Burford signing out from the Coolidge Cricket Grounds. 2-1, the West Indies winning the CG Insurance T20 International Series. Goodbye.
Middle Stumps, a production of Vibes Radio, the champion station, is pleased to be associated with the following stations: GBN Radio in Grenada, Real FM Grenada, Class FM in Jamaica, News Talk Radio Guyana, U97.5 in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean Broadcasting Network in the British Virgin Islands, ABS Radio in Antigua, and CBC Radio in Barbados. Join us as we bring you top-class cricket commentaries on Middle Stump. You've just heard commentaries on the West Indies Sri Lanka series, a production of Vibes Radio, the champion station, in association with ABS Radio in Antigua. Join us again for more on Middle Stump.
Regents Hotel welcomes you for an unforgettable stay in Dominica. Come taste the traditional dishes of Dominica in our gourmet restaurant. Enjoy a tour of the island. Take a dip in the hot springs, a scenic horseback ride, or water sports for the adventurous. Make your reservations today.